Yo, what is up, guys? DPS podcast, which is Damage Per Second podcast, here for another show with you guys. Been a really great week, been a crazy week. I'm joined by, as always, my partner in crime, Slow Mo Backslap, the man. I was about to call you the man with the million. I mean, you beat a million games, but you ain't hit a million gamer score yet, have you, Slow Mo?
Oh, no, I'm not even close, man. Yeah, in order to do that, I mean, I would have to actually be playing all my games on Xbox, right? Which is not the case because I play.
Or at least be playing games, you know. Shout out to Brat for confessing that he really doesn't play games.
But no, I mean, I'm like all of my progress or achievements or trophies, whatever the heck you want to call them, is all over the place. It's on Steam, Epic Game Store, Xbox, PlayStation, everywhere but a Nintendo Switch, of course. So you know how it is.
Well, that's just because Nintendo don't want to give you achievements in general. If they
right.
get,
Well, even if they did, I wouldn't be.
I was gonna ask you that if they was to give, would that make you feel better about purchasing games on Nintendo's platform if they actually had achievements?
No, still, I mean, it would be a little bit better, but still no, good.
Still no.
Yeah.
Well, welcome to episode 45, gentlemen. It was a long week, a great week, but we're back, and like I said, wanted to share this afternoon with my homeboy Slow Mo. So Slow Mo, what's been going on with you, man? What you been up to? What you been playing?
Well, oh man, what have I been playing? I've been playing a lot of stuff. Let me start with the last thing I played. Well, I finished Scarlet Nexus, Yuito's playthrough. That was pretty cool. I'm actually now doing New Game Plus and going through Kasani's story, which is essentially like the same story as Yuito's story, just told or seen from a different perspective. So that's pretty cool. Been kind of breezing through that. I'm already on phase 3 after just a few hours because the enemies are still like the whatever the levels that they is appropriate for that phase. But my level, you keep all your stuff in New Game Plus, so I'm fine with doing that just because it can allow me to get through it quicker, you know. I played Last Stop, and shout out to everybody that came through on the Twitch stream to watch me play that. Not a bad story. It was pretty good. You know, definitely check it out. It's on Game Pass. And I just been playing some Rogue Company. You know, been destroying some foods. You know how it is. Shout out to Elder Cat, Arcade. Arcade and his bro, also and Elder Cat's brother as well has been playing it with us. We just been rolling through people, man. It's not even funny. It's terrible how we've been treating people, but it's been fun. It's been fun, and I wish I could get more into Splitgate, but I guess we could talk about the Splitgate and its popularity and its server issues a little bit later. But yeah, that's what I've been playing, man. What about you?
Yeah, I've been playing pretty much the same things. Shout out to RRD. He says, Forte, can someone explain to me why the rifts in Ratchet and Clay are more impressive than the portals in Splitgate? Slow-mo, do you want to answer that question?
Sure. The portals in Splitgate were made probably by one dude in his garage, and and the rifts in Ratchet and Clank were made by Insomniac Games, which is like the best developer Sony has, and they got a lot of good developers. So
It probably took about 50 people to make each of those rifts inside.
There are more people who work on the visuals of Ratchet and Clank
worked on the game
than the entirety of the people working on Splitgate. So that's the pulling into perspective. That's what you're dealing with there. You know, it's one's a AAA game, the other one is an indie game made by an indie studio that published their own game. So you know,
yeah, exactly.
Perspective.
Yeah, definitely. Shout out to Erodimus, yo. Shout out to the Med IQ. What's up? First time pulling up to DPS. Shout out to you, bro.
Right.
Appreciate you coming through. Yeah, man. Well, outside of that, I've been, I tried to play the Ascent, but I was part of the first day.
Before you do that,
yeah,
I forgot to talk about two things.
Oh, go ahead.
I did get a chance to dabble in the Back for Blood beta. Back for Blood is made by Turtle Rock Studios. Turtle Rock Studios also, if you don't know who they are, you may be familiar with the fact that they were the creators of the Left 4 Dead games. And Back for Blood is essentially that. It's Left 4 Dead, at least so far with the campaign that I've been playing in the beta. I've got, you know how like you make it to a safe house, and then that's like the end of the first leg, and then you go to another safe house. That's the end of the second leg of the camp
Yeah.
of a particular like stage of the campaign. That's what I've been doing so far. It's basically Left 4 Dead, but with better gunplay. But it's a lot of fun. So if you're into those kind of games, that's pretty good. You should be liking it, and it seems pretty easy to get into the beta. Just sign up for whatever they need you to sign up for, and they'll send you a key for it,
Yeah.
or you can get access on PlayStation or Xbox or wherever,
Or
because it's pretty
pre-order,
much in everything.
or just pre-order the game. If you pre-order the game, you'll get into the beta too. If you actually
Oh,
know
sure,
you
but
want to
but, but
get
if
it.
you're not, yeah, exactly. But if you're
If you
not
know you
like,
want to get
you're
it,
not,
yeah, pre-order the game and
yeah.
you'll get it that way.
Yeah. Now there is a a game that I can't speak about that is has a pretty strict NDA, and I won't name the game at all because I can't. But that thing got uninstalled with the swiftness because it is doo doo. It is doo doo butter. It is monkey poo doodle chunks. Okay, it's pretty bad. It's a bad game. If I was the company making it, I would just cancel it. I wouldn't even like forget going into beta. We don't need to put this out there into the world and waste people's times. Like so, yeah. Some of these games not looking good for them. But I do appreciate the opportunity to give it a shot and realize it ain't for me. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. When you was when you told me about it earlier, I was like, oh boy. But that was kind of the thought process a lot of people were having about unnamed game anyway. It's like, okay, well, I guess, sooner or later we'll figure out what this
Yeah,
unnamed
it
game
didn't look
is
good when they first
when they
revealed
first
it.
revealed it.
When they first revealed it, it looked a little mid,
A little
like a little
suspect.
bit like I don't know about this one.
Looked like
Then
it
you
was
start to
made in
see
somebody's
some
basement.
yeah, and from a company that got enough money to where it shouldn't look like that, or you shouldn't be reusing assets from other games that you've already made. You know.
So we got a couple people in the chat calling out games. we can't confirm or deny anything.
Yeah, I cannot confirm or deny, but I see someone has already mentioned said game already. So that's all I'm gonna say.
Oh my god, Slow-mo
Oh,
Slow-mo
man.
gonna get, man. They gonna come after your channel, bro. Wait, I just realized what's going on here. He did this on my channel, so he Slow-mo dirty,
Ain't coming
bro.
after me.
They gonna come
Ain't
after my
coming-
channel. Okay, I got you.
Okay, Look, I didn't say that. Can't nobody. I didn't say no names. I could be talking about Farm Simulator or I don't know.
What about Lawnmower Simulator? Is that a
Yeah,
thing?
I could be talking about Lawnmower Simulator. Lawnmower Simulator,
2021.
test demo with the crazy NDA. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
They wanted you to test out those zero turn mowers. Make sure you know what you're doing when you buy them. But no, so outside of that, I tried playing the Ascent, but I was on that first day I was having issues, and I was trying to play it in co-op with somebody, and it just wasn't working. And then with me working over the whole time, I was like, yeah, I'll come back to this. But shout out to Taz who's in the chat. He did beat it, and man, Taz he's been a monster, man. He beat Ascent, he beat Scarlet Nexus. I mean, this man, he ain't playing. So I mean, I guess I ain't got no excuses being the person that said Destiny takes my whole life. That man has more hours of Destiny than I do, and he actually beating games out here. So I might have to step my game. Well, there ain't no might. I have to step my game because Taz out here showing me up. But yeah, so I do have the beta for Back 4 Blood. I got it today. I installed it. I just didn't get a chance to play it before the show today. So I know we'll probably have some more thoughts on that on next week's show, or maybe in some videos that we post up throughout this week. But yeah, but from what I see from most people, a lot of people like it. It just comes down to if you were a fan of that Left 4 Dead style gameplay, you're pretty much getting that because the same studio's making the game. And it looks a lot cleaner than Left 4 Dead. Left 4 Dead, I mean, granted, it was a game that was not even last generation before last generation. So a lot of people are really interested in seeing exactly what's gonna happen with this game going forward. But other than that, Destiny, of course, been running a lot of stuff with Luca. You can see my very first Grandmaster Nightfall clear happened over the course of the last week. The gameplay you're seeing right now is me running it with Sinister and Cognito, getting him through it for the first time, which was actually pretty fun. Sometimes you got to actually challenge yourself on the hardest stuff to actually have an enjoyable time in the game sometime, especially when we get to the final topic about this game, where it's not going to be sunshine and rainbows. It's going to kind of be a bunch of other stuff that's going to come out of my mouth. But outside of that, man, I've just been really enjoying. I'm halfway through Death's Door. I'm going to finish that out probably, if not by this. Yeah, dude. By the time this weekend is up, I should be done with that. It's another game. What is it, Nino or something? It hit Game Pass. I actually downloaded it on my PC and started.
Nino.
What is the name of the game? I don't know. What is the name of this game? It's something. It starts with an N. It hit Game Pass like earlier this week. It's like
Nino.
I don't know. He starts with an N. Played like a little kid.
Omno?
Is it Anno? Okay, Anno. Okay.
What? Starts with you got the letter completely wrong.
Okay,
it doesn't start with an N.
Well, it starts with an O?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, I was just going off the color scheme. I don't know. It was just a game that I was playing on PC and it actually interested me. And I said, I might have to finish this game because it was actually pretty cool. So I was playing that on my PC, on my laptop, actually trying to see what gaming looked like on there. And it's actually pretty good. So that's pretty much the gist of what I kind of been doing over the course of the last week in general. But other than that, did you enjoy your last week? How was your vacation? Because I know we just jumped right in. We had a guest that day. So how did you enjoy your vacation?
About the vacation last week. Yeah, I mean, I talked about it last week, but yeah, we did. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we talked about how your air conditioning actually worked that day.
Right. The AC was doing good, and then we needed it because it was pretty hot. It was very, very hot out there. But one thing I could really complain about was the jellyfish all over the beach. Like, it was just jellyfish everywhere, and it was scaring the crap out of everybody because nobody wanted to get stung and had to get pissed on in order to get the sting away or whatever it is that you do when you get stung by a jellyfish, whatever. Right? But no, it was a good time. We had a good time out there.
Cool. What did you Well, yeah, that's good. Because I know, are the jellyfish translucent? Some people actually don't know that.
Yes.
You actually can see right through them.
They're actually different, like, breeds or kinds of jellyfish. So we didn't see the ones that are like really, really bad. But like these were like they're like the shape of they're translucent. And it's like they're like the shape of like a little pancake or something. But you'll see them kind of floating in the water, and they can like get suctioned up on you, and yeah, they can sting you pretty badly. We saw a few. Actually, like there was a sign right before we got to the beach. It was like, "Beware jellyfish," and I was like, "Oh, okay. All right, well, maybe we'll see one." Like literally 5 seconds after like putting everything down, getting everything set up, and then walking towards the water, I see a jellyfish immediately. I'm just like, wow, okay. I guess it's gonna be like this. And literally everywhere, every time we went to the beach, they were just out there, just chilling, trying to get close to you. It was pretty weird, but we didn't allow it to ruin our time or anything.
Yeah, cool. Well, I see Erodimus is making fun of me because I couldn't remember the name of the game. But okay, you're good. But
he said, "What color begins with an N?"
With an N.
Because I just realized you said that. You got the type. Well, whatever that game that begins with an N, wrong. It
Wrong.
begins with an O.
Who starts with an
What color
O?
begins with an N?
Okay.
What is going on?
Nugent or
Say it.
something? I don't know. Oh man, so for your entertainment, man, for your entertainment. But yeah, so let's get into the first topic. We have Horizon Forbidden West not being officially delayed, but with Jason Schreier, and I know Jeff Grubb was
Our
talking
buddy
about this.
Jeff Grubb.
Yeah, our buddy Jeff Grubb was talking about this a little bit ahead of that, and then Jason Schreier pretty much just came up the back end, was like, listen, this game's being delayed, and he was like, I know it's being delayed. So pretty much a lot of people are just taking this and saying this is what's going on, and I tend to kind of believe it, because I think Jason coming out being very stern in his answer on that kind of just says, yeah, this is definitely a thing that's about to happen. So first of all, what do you think about it being delayed? And second, what does this mean for Sony when it comes to their holiday lineup for people that got PS5s or trying to get a PS5?
Well, I mean, I'm not. I think it's pretty. It was pretty well known when they did the big reveal of Horizon Forbidden West, and they showed that great, like maybe like 5 minutes of gameplay. They showed that them not having a release date at that time after showing all of that will kind of, led people to believe like this probably wasn't going to come out this year. And even though they were still targeting holiday, that like, anytime anyone says holiday, there seems to be like it might not make it. Like, just because holiday is typically November and December, and that's a very small time, short window to hit. And with everything going on with the pandemic and people working from home, and a game like Horizon Forbidden West, like a lot of the Sony first person, that's I said first person, but first party games, they use a lot of mocap. It's very cinematic, and doing all that from home, or not having access to studios to do that in and work with the mocap actors to get all that stuff done. It just slows a lot of stuff down, and it's no shock to me that it's going to get delayed, even though they officially haven't said it yet. They probably will, probably waiting for the next time they're going to do like a state of play, or the next time that they got something big going on, so they can kind of like throw that out there to soften the blow. You know how they do. They hey, look at this game. Also, we're delaying for we're delaying Horizon Forbidden West, but don't worry about that. Look at this other thing that we just showed you. It's a nice way of breaking it to people. That doesn't make it like a big deal, that where people would stick to that that specific thing and get really upset about it. But it is what it is. I've never really cared about delays like that, because if the game it gets delayed, it obviously needed it, and I would much rather play the game that it will be after the delay than the game that it would have been if we would have got it when the time that they said they were going to have to release it. It's just basically it's going to be a better game, so don't worry about it. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah, I would. For me, the biggest thing when it comes to just Horizon, like I always go back to your beautiful saying, a delayed game is always a better game versus a game that comes out is broken forever. I mean, I don't know if that's exactly how you said it, but that's kind of how I take it in more simpler terms. It's like, you only got one chance. I mean, and Horizon is a big franchise now. It's only one game in, but a lot of people really look at that as one of the big monikers for Sony. And Aloy is more of a house note name when it comes to a lot of people actually, identifying with the PlayStation platform, because it was one of the best games that came out on PlayStation 4 last generation. So they have a lot of liberties they could take with this, and well, one of the liberties is I don't think they want to put out a game and kind of sully that PlayStation greatness that they have with all their games. When people see and pick up a PlayStation exclusive, they expect quality out the gate. I mean, you should expect that from any developer that makes a game. But when you're always making those games, the level of scrutiny is a little bit higher on your end, because that's what that's what people expect, and that's what people expect from you. So we haven't had issues with Sony coming out of the gate with games that are broken and stuff like that, or games that just don't perform the way they need to perform. You might have issues with the story components of them sometimes, depending on the game and the franchise. But for the most part, even if you did complain about that or had issues with it, you can easily point out one or two other things in that game that kind of stands out above every other game that you ever played, especially in those over the shoulder, third person action games. It's pretty much, Sony's wheelhouse, and they definitely dominate that wheelhouse. And I think this game is going to be, with more time, more polish. It already looks great, already looks phenomenal. Even if some people are probably going to say they're only really delaying this because they really don't know what the situation on semiconductors are, which recently, as of yesterday, they did announce that they did acquire enough semiconductors to actually meet
I
demand.
don't think that's the issue though, because
I
this
don't think it's
game
the
is
issue
going to come
either.
out on PlayStation 4. So
Yeah,
like they're going to get their sales off of this regardless. And I
yeah.
don't think unlike Spider-Man Miles Morales, which they
Well,
marketed as a PS5 game and then kind of ignored the fact that it was coming out on
what I
PS4.
do
This game is being marketed as just a PlayStation title. It's well known it's on both PS4 and PS5. So I don't think their issues with supply is causing this to be delayed. I think the game is being delayed because the game isn't ready. It has nothing to do with the hardware.
No, I agree with. That's why I'm saying people are saying that, and I don't think that's the gist of it. But I do think that I don't think this would have changed anything. But I do think they expected Horizon to help push sales of the PS5 this holiday. You know, I think
Oh yeah,
that
of
was the
course.
go.
Yeah.
That was the goal. But the thing is, and we see it through this pandemic right now, PlayStation 5s are going to sell no matter what. They're going to sell at a high clip no matter what. We got a topic that we're going to be talking about later, but they hit certain milestones, and it's not just them. Pretty much all of the manufacturers and the developers and publishers they're hitting milestones that are kind of unseen, and that's just because gaming is growing at an exponential rate. But I I hope I hope this game doesn't fall further than the first quarter of next year, because as of right now, there is no first party exclusive game from PlayStation on the calendar. And let's be frank, I don't think they need one for the holiday. I always look at the holiday as a time that people feel like systems or publishers have to release games, because there's a bunch of games that come out during that year. Like, does PlayStation truly have to release Horizon Forbidden West to be successful? I don't think they do. They did it with Forbidden West. They released it on, I believe, February 22nd of 16. So I think they can definitely turn the tide when it comes to that. Not all games can do that. Some games are just meant to be in a holiday, because that's kind of the window that those games
I
are
think
kind of
it's a
produced
bit
in
overblown that people think that they need to have a
during the
first party
holiday.
game during the holiday. They
Yeah,
don't, because they've got timed exclusives coming out during the holiday that that will fill the void essentially. They got Deathloop, they got Kane and Bridge of Spirits. They got games coming out that will not be on the competing platform, at least on the console side of things. They as they shouldn't view PC as competition, and they don't. So that's why they don't really care for trying to get any timed exclusives away from PC anymore. And I mean that's that. I mean they're gonna be games. If you're a PlayStation only gamer, they're gonna be games that will differentiate the platform from the
yeah.
competition for the rest of this year. So they can they're doing great on sales, hardware sales. They're fine. They don't need to, oh hey, we need this out now. No, you don't. Make sure the game's good. That's what you need to do. Make sure the game is an improvement over Horizon Zero Dawn in every way possible. Not that it was a terrible game, but it's a good game. It wasn't great, but you want Forbidden West to be great. You're not going to allow Forbidden West to be great by pushing a release date that is unrealistic for them to hit. And so delaying the game is necessary, and that's it. That's what it needed to do.
Yeah. And shout out to the Ashley Lucas. She says 2017, and I do believe that is today. It was either 2016, 2017, but man, that game was boring. Yeah, you're right. It was 2017. That's when Switch came out, and it came out the same year as that. I really wish I would have. I mean, I know you played and finished Horizon Zero Dawn. Did you finish it again on PC, or did you just do it on console? I know you rebought it on
I
PC.
started it on PlayStation. I was bored, absolutely. I I think the game suffers from story pacing more than anything. The pacing of the story isn't wasn't done very well. But I do kind of give them I kind of lean off of Gorilla a little bit with that because it's really like their first time doing that kind of game anyway. But I think also just 30 frames per second. That game plays way better at higher frame rates. Playing it on PC, I played it primarily over 100 frames per second. Combat was a lot more fluid. I didn't have that many issues with that, and I mean, by the time you reach Meridian, well,
Mm-hmm.
when you're done with Meridian, the initial Meridian storyline, and then you start to find out what's really going on, why the
Mm-hmm.
world the way it is, who Aloy really is, that's when the story really opens up. And it's a really good story. It's just not told in the best way it could have been told. Some of that information should have been trickled out throughout the game, like kind of like leaving breadcrumbs, kind of keep the gamer who is enjoying the story interested in what's happening in the main narrative. And it just seems like in the very beginning they kind of give you this overview of what's happening, and then they just get you involved in all the tribal nonsense that nobody cares about for way too long, and then later on they pick up the main story again, and it's just, yeah, like I think with Forbidden West they need to tell the story a bit better. Allow maybe they need some different people in the narrative team to really help out with that, but I do think it's got the potential to be a better game than the previous game. Even in the trailer, they showed how they were improving the combat with like the melee combat. I always thought the melee was very basic, and they seem to be showing some improvements in there too. So I think the game, when I finished it, I was really invested in the story. Really, I probably should have did the Frozen Wilds before I finished it, considering that like timeline wise, it's something that could be done afterwards, but it really should be done before you finish the game. But regardless of that, I thought it was pretty cool. I just think that it's a tad bit overrated with the way some people talk about the Zero Dawn, but I think Forbidden West could be potentially the game that we always wanted it to be.
Yeah, I agree 100% with that.
Got some super chats too.
Yeah, they just popped up. Shout out to Basement Radio Arcade Podcast with the 50 spot. 50 spot. Yo, listen.
Oh man,
That's a
Enrique is spending
I
money,
know
man.
Enrique, man, he been on a tear for the last couple of weeks and stuff. I mean, he put Slow-Mo's car through school last week with all the super chats and trying to get under his but shout out to him. Said, let's go. Let's hit the like button. Salute Forte and Slow-Mo. No polls this week. Listen, man, I ain't even think about these polls, but you know what? I'm about to actually gonna make one at some point during the show. We might have to have some fun with it. And then we also have the Ashton Luca with the $5 super chat. You played through the boring parts of Horizon Zero Dawn, but refused to finish The Witcher. You're sick, Slow-Mo. Sick. You sick.
That's hilarious. Luca, let me explain something to you. The combat in Horizon Zero Dawn is better than the combat in The Witcher. That is it. Yes, The Witcher is boring up until a certain point, and I know Luca has told me you're right at the end of where like the boringness ends, and I'm just like,
He said,
yeah, I still
I
can't.
don't care.
I, I don't care. Like I can't stand that combat. I just can't. So it's just it is what it is. Like maybe I'll reinstall it and push through it. I actually did reinstall it maybe like a month ago because I think I heard someone talking about. I think the character's name is the Bloody Baron. Um, and that whole storyline, and I was like, that storyline is interesting. It is interesting, and I'm at that part. I'm not finished with it yet, and I was kind of like going through that when I finally just gave up on it. But I reinstalled I reinstalled it. I think the last time I saved it, I had just finished the conversation with the Baron, and so when I reinstalled it, I'm there like right outside of his office or his room or whatever, and I'm just walking around and I just said, "Nah, I can't do it." Uninstalled, like that fast. I just uninstalled it. Like it's just not for me. I don't think I'm not saying Witcher 3 isn't a quality game. Clearly, it is. Enough people have sung its praises enough to basically solidify its status as a quality RPG. But it just ain't for me.
It just ain't for you.
Mm-mm.
Shout out to RDX Finest, the commander in chief of the ship over there, Dealer Gaming, being up in the chat.
Oh, what's up, Dylan?
Yeah, congrats on the 3K, bro. Appreciate you, man. Love the work you guys do over there on RDX,
You did
man.
hit 3K.
Yeah, hit 3K a couple of weeks.
Congratulations, man. Yeah.
Oh man, it's a grind. You just got to be, look, man. Consistency is the only way you're gonna do it, and
That is so true. And
you
that's
just gotta keep doing
I've
it.
been working on myself. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's coming back. You're getting it back together. Shout out to Ashley Luca with another $5 super chat. That quest line was the part where I was like, "Oh, holy s, this is amazing, bro." Listen, slow mo. I'm trying to tell you, the game is phenomenal, bro.
I guess I just didn't feel it like that. Look, I did find it interesting. Like the Baron is a dick, and that guy is trash. And if I ever get back into the game and there's the opportunity to turn him into fertilizer, I'm gonna do it because that dude is awful. But yeah, man, I just wasn't feeling it, man. I'm just not feeling the game like that. I don't know what it is about it, but it's just it doesn't do it for me.
Look, man, let's be for real. The DLC for Witcher is amazing. It's some of the best DLC in the game. It had the best respect your time when it came to quest steps, and especially when you get to the DLC. I think it was great. And let's be for real, that's the reason that the expectation for Cyberpunk was so through the roof, because of how well they did with The Witcher. Now, Witcher had its issues in the beginning, it was very very broken in the beginning, and unfortunately it doesn't look like they're going to kind of recover with this whole Cyberpunk thing. Maybe people will forget after they do it, but I just think at a certain point it's kind of like beating a dead horse. But man, I can't believe that you didn't enjoy Witcher, man. I mean, especially the games you like to play and the things that you like to talk about. I just thought that would have been a game that you would have probably beat like 4 or 5 times, like Mass Effect.
Well, it's like, okay, so story wise, it is an intriguing story and premise. Like I watched the TV show on Netflix, and I really enjoyed the hell out of that. I'm like, wow, like I see why people like this story so much. The characters are very deep and engaging. With the game though, it's like it does all the stuff that like I love from BioWare, where the dialogue is very elaborate. There's narrative trees out the wazoo. There's so many options when you're speaking with people. It's just for me, I have I just can't get into it, and I want to like the game, but I just don't. It's weird. It's weird. Like maybe I need to give it another shot and actually like force myself to do like another 2 or 3 hours of it. But
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, so I guess the question, somebody else just said it in the chat. It was, the medic IQ. He said, tried The Witcher 3, got my butt kicked by a griffin. I did too, bro. Probably going to try it again after the next gen update. Now, you have PC, so you always have next gen, sir. But I know you do have an Xbox Series S in your house, and you do have a PS5. Would playing that on a next gen console probably change your mind of wanting to go back and try it again, or is it pretty much
What, Witcher?
Yeah, Witcher 3.
Nah, no. Look, man. If I play when I play Witcher on my PC, well, the textures are very dated, so it still looks dated. But like at ultra settings, like 4K, or I could go 4K 60, or I could go like 2K over like 120 easy. It doesn't change anything.
Hmm.
It doesn't change anything. So no.
Yeah, the medic said he said that next gen update might redeem Cyberpunk, especially as much as people talk about Witcher 3 DLC. If they drop something of similar quality, it could get them some mind share back. Look, man, anything can happen. I mean, they can't go, they can't fall any further than they fail. I mean, you probably could if they don't ever get this game working, get Cyberpunk working. But no, you're right. And I mean, I think that's kind of the thought process a lot of people have. I still have Cyberpunk. I haven't loaded it up 1 second. It's just sitting on my hard drive waiting for that next gen update. And I do want to play it because it is I love CD Projekt Red and the games they make, but I'm not about to sit out here and force myself to play a game that might be buggy. And at this point, I keep hearing people say that it's a lot better now, but I'm not about to play a game that's just a lot better. I'm looking for a little bit more than that. So I can wait, especially when that next gen update comes out. That's kind of when I want to experience the game, because I didn't get it on PC. But yeah, so Slow-Mo, you're basically so. Before we finish out Horizon, what
You
do
know
you
what?
go ahead? Go ahead.
Real quick
Go ahead.
about The Witcher, because you just brought up Cyberpunk, and so I beat Cyberpunk. I
Mm-hmm.
enjoyed the story. I thought the gameplay was terrible. Like
Oh, okay.
I thought the shooting was awful, and even though like it's a RPG, so it's like you have to build up to it. So like you get skill points that you can go towards shooting and stuff like that to kind of like make your shooting better. The way I expect my I forgot the name of the character now at this point. V. The way I expect my V was I was melee and small arms focused. So pistols, shotguns, and samurai swords basically. Um Even like I basically just focused just on the swords. I would just be running up on enemies and just chopping everybody up because the gunplay was that bad. Now story wise, I enjoyed the story despite all the bugs, even though I had a bug near the end of the game that almost prevented me from completing the game because it was that bad of a bug. But
Yeah.
maybe with me, just CD Projekt Red, their gameplay is just it doesn't suit me because I'm thinking about all the games that I've played of theirs. Cyberpunk, didn't really like the gameplay. Witcher 3, didn't really care for the gameplay. Witcher 2, the gameplay, the combat so bad, I couldn't finish it. There was just no way. There was just no way I was going to finish that. So just their game, good stories, good. The gameplay is just terrible.
Hmm. Yeah. So finishing out that subject around Horizon Zero Dawn, what are you expecting? Okay, so what do you think needs to be the focus for Forbidden West to be a drastically better game overall than what we got with Horizon Zero
Is
Dawn?
is what I said before, the story pacing. I think the story pacing is for the people who quit Horizon Zero Dawn. I think somebody said it in the chat about like how people feel about the game. I'm in the minority of people who feel like it's a good game, but it ain't a great game. Like I don't hate it or anything, but there are people who feel like it's great. It's such a great game, and then there are people who are just like, no, it's just boring. And so it's like
Yeah.
there's these really like polarizing opinions about the game itself, and I feel that the majority of the reason why that is the case is that people felt it was boring because they didn't care about what was going on. They didn't. Aloy is Aloy is a character. I think they need to work on her as a character as well. It's partially boring because the main story they just forgot about it for a good like 15 hours.
Mm-hmm.
it's also partially boring because Aloy as a character is a nothing burger. She doesn't really get too upset. She doesn't really get too emotional. You talk to other characters and she's very much like, oh, okay, that's how you feel. Oh, okay, well, all right, let me go over here. Oh, those people are in trouble. Let's go help them. It's just like, yo, could you get a little? Could you cuss somebody out? Aloy, could you get a little saucy every now and then? There's a part in the game where like the emperor, the king of Meridian, whoever you want to call
Yeah.
this dude basically propositions Aloy to be like his concubine. Like no lies, it's hilarious. I was laughing when it happened, and her response is just so. Oh, I no, I don't think I could do that. I think you should probably just pretend like this conversation didn't happen. I'm like, could you get a little upset or something? Could you maybe think about it? Maybe you want to be his concubine? Like, can I get something out of you here that shows some emotion? Like when she finds out who she really is, and I mean the game's old as hell, so I could talk about like stuff like this. When she finds out that who she's a clone of, and it's like shock, but then it's like, oh, okay, all right, well, I guess that's who I am. Let me move on. What else? What other revelations are here? And it's just like,
Yeah.
all right, what I want from Forbidden West, I want to see a Aloy with more agency into the story. Not doing what she's doing just because she feels like, oh, I gotta save the world, or I'm doing it because of who people think I should be, but because she actually wants to do it. Like her motivations, like internally, are aligned with whatever is going on in this story. That's what I want to see more of. And whatever this story is, whatever the crux, the main plot, this story, I want them to stick to it. Like, don't forget it for a few hours and just get into, well, let's talk about the Carta. Or let's talk about whoever this new faction is and just get involved in their internal politics and their culture for like a good 6 hours. No, I don't want that. I don't want that. So, yeah, that I think the story, if the story really hits, I think people will be overwhelmingly excited for playing the game and overwhelmingly um more engaged in it, because when the people say it's boring because they don't know what's going on and they don't care.
Right.
Right.
No, yeah, I'm with you on that. And I think in general, it just really comes down to if this type of game spoke to you. I was one of those people once I got the Meridian and I did some of the stuff and I was like, okay, this game just fell off a cliff. It didn't help. It also didn't help that Breath of the Wild came out at that time and I
Oh,
just
whatever. It's
listen,
still
man.
it's a better game than that game.
It was Breath of the Wild is definitely a better game, so you're absolutely right about that.
Mm,
No, it's
mm-mm.
definitely a better game. We're not about to get into this whole conversation between.
Horizon Zero Dawn. Matter of fact, run that poll.
Oh my,
Run that poll.
run that poll. Oh, well, let me tell you. So,
What's better,
are
Horizon
you
Zero
looking?
Dawn
Are you
or
looking
Breath of the
for? Wait, hold.
Wild?
Are you looking forward to Horizon Zero Forbidden West? 44% of people say no. 40% says yes, and 16% says nah. Man, game is boring. All right, it makes sense. You know, it's mostly an Xbox community around here and stuff. But the fact that, you know, we can't deny that Horizon Zero Dawn is definitely going to be a game that's going to definitely make waves whenever it does decide to release sometime next year. I will do that poll, Slow Mo, which game was better, Breath of the Wild, and I will actually key that up. But first, let's move over to the next topic where we're going to talk about Mr. Sean Layton. Used to be the VP president of Sony Entertainment for America and over in Japan. And he has some very interesting things to say about Game Pass, Slow Mo. Did you check out the stuff that he said about that last week?
I did, and I'm actually about to pull up the article now because
Yeah.
I wanna make sure that when we quote what Sean Layton said, that we're getting it exactly
For
like
what
right.
Sean Layton said.
Yeah, because
Because the pony brigade will be out there to get us if we
I
don't
don't
quote
care.
this
Man,
man
look,
correctly.
I don't give a damn about the
Oh,
Pony Brigade or
you
any other
sure?
brigade for any other platform. They can kick rocks
That's
as
what
far
I.
as I'm care. I speak the truth, and if you don't like it, that's a you problem. So look, this is But this, I don't really. First of all, I don't know why the Pony Brigade would care. Sean Layton doesn't even work for PlayStation anymore. Clear. And I actually look at some of the comments that he's saying here, and I don't think all of it really pertains solely to the Game Pass. Some of it's really kind of talking about some of the things that Sony are doing right now.
Right.
But all that said, like, I mean, like, I understand his perspective, but I also kind of feel like your numbers, your math. I mean, I hope this is a typo because your math ain't right.
It's definitely a little wrong.
Your math is off. Like what?
It,
What's
like to
happening?
the point where I even have to question. I had to question the rest of this interview. Like, what?
Like did they? If I was Sean Layton, I'd be like, "Yo, there's a typo here because I didn't say 500 million subscribers." Like, let's just find that. Let me find that quote real quick because
I have it on my phone right here.
I say so. He says it's very hard to launch a $120 million game on a subscription service charging $9.99 a month. You pencil it out, you're going to have 500 million subscribers before you start to recoup your investment. Let's put a pin in that real quick.
Yeah,
Okay.
pin it.
So, okay, so the game, he's talking about one game. So I know a lot of people always have. I've heard other people talk about this, and they always go, "Well, clearly he's not talking about just that game. He's talking about all the games that are in Game Pass." But if that's what he said, I would understand his point way more. But that's not what he said. He's talked about one game with a price for that one game as his example. We can't try to help Sean Layton's point by adding context that isn't there.
Right.
So I'm not going to go talk about, oh, he's talking about the entire service and all the games that they paid to put in the service. No, because that's not what he said. Now, if that is how other people feel about it, sure, we can have that conversation, and I could agree in some points about that. But that's not what Sean Layton's talking about, so it doesn't need to be brought up. Period.
Right.
The $120 million for one game, but you gotta have 500 million subscribers to recoup your investment, not not make money, to recoup your investment. You gotta have 500 million. Like, you, it, does Sean understand that if you had 120 million subscribers, you like that's 100 and I mean that's $12 billion right there. Like what are you talking about, Sean? Like it's weird. The whole thing's weird. He says that's why right now you need to take a loss leading position to try to grow that base. I get that, but still, if you have only 250 million consoles out there, you're not going to get to a half billion subscribers. So how do you circle that square? Nobody has figured that out yet. So the other part that I do get, the 250 million consoles is him talking about how many consoles are pretty much being bought every generation. It's roughly about 250 million, and he's saying that's half of the half a billion subscriber number that he came up with. It's just that's not that math doesn't work in regards to having to finance Game Pass, and it if you had 500 million subscribers, I mean that's crazy. It's not necessary to have that many, and I'm pretty certain that Xbox themselves probably has a number in mind, a
Mm-hmm.
number that they want to be at for Game Pass. That's a certain subscriber number that they could say, "Oh man, this is exactly what we wanted, where we need it. This is the sweet spot we want to be at when all of our first party games start rolling through. This is where we're going to start making money off of this service explicitly, like making profit out of this, where the return on our investment has been achieved." And they're clearly not there yet. but it's clearly not 500 million subscribers. Clearly, that's not the number. I know I've been talking a whole lot, man. What do you think about that?
No, you're good. I mean, I know you get you get real passionate when it comes to people, the portraying of numbers and the way that they actually do it. And I when I saw that 500 million, I was like, man, Netflix didn't even got that many people. that's
Right.
that's a ridiculous number right there. But look, it's profitable whenever Microsoft says it's profitable for them. And they haven't came out with any recent updated numbers or anything. But shout out like once again to RDX. Aaron was on there at one point, and in multiple interviews he said that they're not profitable when it comes to Game Pass, and we're going to keep thinking that either they're breaking even or they're just not profitable until they actually come out and say it. But as long as Microsoft is willing to split the bill with them and get this subscription service off the ground and running, who really cares? I always tell people, do I care if Microsoft is losing money on Game Pass? Well, they're giving me a service that I think is one of the best in gaming. Shout out. I was talking to Taz earlier today, and he was like, thank God Game Pass was out for Outriders, because he couldn't stand that game at all. Me and you, I think, wasn't that Taz? We got the damage mitigation on when we were playing the game. We was like, yo, what's up with this game? Why are we doing half damage and stuff? Stuff like that. So in general, it just comes back to you really don't know who Sean is really speaking for. Part of us feels like it's mostly just he's saying his own little thing, but he does.
Well, you also got to understand, if you read this entire article is more of a, like, Sean now works with this company, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I feel like a lot of his thoughts are really kind of promoting this company that he works for.
Yes, I agree.
At the same time, because it's like everything seems to kind of like, basically what this company's doing is very anti what you see with a subscription, a sub service like Game Pass. Like, he talks about hurting the creativity of smaller developers, whereas I don't think that's something that Game Pass does at all. But what his company's now doing is kind of like promoting things like that. So it's, if you're trying to get developers to work with you and not just throw their game into Game Pass and take that bag up front from Microsoft and see what happens from there, then you're going to try to come up with ways to poo-poo a service that really is
But yeah.
not doing what your current company's doing. Some of the other stuff that he said, I thought, spoke against what Sony is currently doing right now. And of course, we don't know exactly why Sean is no longer there anymore. We don't know whether he quit, he got fired. There it was clearly he was at odds with some of the things that were going on there. But you look at this article, you look at his quotes, and you can kind of see, based off of what they've been doing with PlayStation the past 2 years, where he has some differences of opinion. Clearly,
Yeah. So some of the stuff that he says people don't buy consoles because they want more steel and plastic in their living room. Absolutely correct. Most people do buy consoles to play games. So he's absolutely correct about that. He also says if you can find a way to get content into people's homes without a box, then yes, indeed, people will, basically talking about how people will basically play right on devices like Xboxes, where we're going to be making like a thumbstick that can plug into your TV so you can get Game Pass and stuff on there. So things like that is definitely a viable thing, especially in Microsoft's camp. Most of it will be limited by if you have a decent internet connection and you have constructed business models that work around that. But the one thing I think he's missing, especially in the $9.99 quote that he gave for Game Pass. First of all, there's two. So I mean, he went with the lower model. Of course, it makes his argument a little bit, it seems stronger, even knowing that Xbox mostly wants to push everybody to Xbox Ultimate or Game Pass Ultimate because it combines, PC and everything, more benefits, Xbox Live, So
but I kind of think that's like probably the best way to go about it if you think about it, because there are
yeah.
people who are still on the $1 deal.
Oh,
There are
absolutely.
people
Yeah.
who, yeah, and then there are people who are, doing the 15. So if you just go with the baseline, which is like
The $10, the
the
normal.
$10,
Yeah, and I
yeah,
agree with that. But the thing I think he's missing is he keeps talking about the one game that costs $120 million to make. Well, rumor says Halo cost them $500 million, and they're willing to put half of that game inside of the prescription for free. And the reason I think this is kind of a thing that he's not thinking about, a lot of other people are thinking about, all that is, that $9.99 is just the entry point into Game Pass to play the games. You think they're gonna give you all of the cosmetics and stuff for free inside of that game? Do we up here talking on podcasts about Halo Infinite and some of the stuff that could be available in it, and we're gonna talk about that in the next couple of topics. But AIs and having voices and stuff and all the stuff they could kind of charge you for, that people will be willing to spend $10-15 to have in that game. So if you take one person that just has a subscription for Game Pass for either 10 or 15 bucks, and they start buying microtransactions inside of these games, where do you think that number balloons up to over the course of a month? Especially if you have the right game that really hits inside of Game Pass and makes people want to spend money. That's why I think Xbox is really doubling down really heavily when it comes to especially Halo Infinite, because they see a lot of dollars coming from that game. Halo 5 didn't sell like as great as other Halo games, but guess what it did? It was one of their most successful one of their most successful games that they made money off of ever. And it was because of like the loot boxes, like in Warzone, and the crates and stuff that you could buy inside the game for the customizations and building up your Spartan's appearance and stuff. We see games like Destiny that's inside a Game Pass. You get a discount on silver when you buy it in there. And guess what? Xbox still gets, I mean, we don't know what the deals of Game Pass is. All you can assume is they still get their 30% cut of what they're making off of those things, unless they have a particular deal in mind with these developers, which definitely could be a thing. They for the change of the game being in Game Pass, they may not take any of the DLC cut. But it's still the fact that just because you buy the game, or not even buy the game, just because you play it on Game Pass, there are so many other ways that they can make money off of those games in Game Pass that is really incredible. Think about games like Madden if they ever went into Game Pass. Ultimate Team is crazy now. So if they was taking some type of cut of that, then you're thinking like, yo, on top of people already not buying microtransactions, but where do you think these people buy all of this DLC for all these games at? They still get cuts of that. Just because it's not coming from the Game Pass funnel, they're still making money on the system inherently. Every time you go in there and buy a DLC for a game, when you go buy Dragon Ball FighterZ, you buy the 2 different season passes they got for that game at $24.99 a pop. Guess what? You just gave Microsoft 30% of that $50 that you just spent on that game. So I think that's what they're kind of missing. Xbox is just trying to get more people inside the ecosystem. The more people that are in the ecosystem, the more money they're going to spend in that ecosystem. And that's why that's the main reason places like Sony came up with the whole, we're going to charge you for like crossplay and stuff, because what does crossplay inherently do, Slow-Mo? If you have the ability to play your games anywhere with anybody, what does that give people the ability to do with their games, Slow-Mo?
play it. Okay,
Play it
so
anywhere they want, basically.
yeah, but then you still have to
Well,
buy the game on the other platform to play it on the other platform.
we're talking about free to play
Depending on.
games. We're talking about free to play games.
Okay, well, we're free to play, yeah, but like crossplay is it's in games you gotta play up front for, as well as free to play games.
Exactly.
But regardless, Sony has that crossplay tax or fee or whatever for everybody. Basically, they added it to the Fortnite, and if Fortnite gotta pay it, your game gonna have to pay it, because no one's got more leverage, play with Sony than Epic does when it comes to that game, because that game earns more money on every single platform than any other game there is.
Right.
So,
Exactly.
but when it's I think Sean has like we saw he's got interesting thoughts, and there are plenty of people who don't believe Game Pass is a viable option for a company. We've seen the CEO Strauss Zellner, I think that's his name,
Mm-hmm.
of Take Two, speaking about this, and you look at what Take Two does. That Take Two doesn't need anything like a Game Pass. All the games that they make are they got their built-in communities that are just overwhelmingly will buy whatever that they put out at whatever price they put it out at. They're getting all kinds of money off of microtransactions. They were the very first ones to start charging $70 for the standard base game, and they can do that because they know that like hey, like the majority of the people that buying our games are spending well more than that
Right.
anyway. So like yeah, why not take an extra $10 off of them? What are you going to do? Not play it? And so, like, of course, they feel like something like putting our games, like launch games in Game Pass, is not necessary because we're going to get $70 off of these people, whether they like the same people that would have gone and played the game in Game Pass would have just given us $70 for it. So why would we do that? And so like it's different for every publisher. Every publisher will feel differently about something like this based upon how they sell their games and what kind of games that they're making. All that said, I think probably the biggest thing that Sean said in this interview that I disagreed with was about diversity and consolidation. So I'll read the quote of what he said before I speak on why I don't think this is an issue or
Mm-hmm.
it's not as bad as how he's claiming it is. He says that with each console generation, the cost of games goes up 2 times. I agree with that. He says so PS4 games were 100 to 150 million. So it stands to reason that PS5 games, when they hit their stride, will be in excess of $200 million. He's talking about cost of making the game.
Mm-hmm.
Now he goes on to say it's going to be very difficult for more than a handful of large players to compete in that space. During that time, we have also seen more consolidation. Consolidation is the enemy of diversity in some ways. Now, when he talks about consolidation, he's talking about Tencent, Microsoft, Sony, even Facebook acquiring these studios. We saw another studio got acquired today. I think the studio that made Streets of Rage 4 got acquired by some publisher today. I can't remember which publisher it was. It was a
Mm-hmm.
smaller publisher, but regardless, he he goes on to say it takes a lot of playing pieces off of the table as they grow into these larger conglomerates, and again, we end up with this problem with diversity. So my thought on this is that Sean is seeing a problem or he's seeing something different with this consolidation that wasn't happening before, and he feels like this will bode poorly on diversity in gaming and game development. It's no different, honestly, than what has always happened in the gaming industry. It's just that instead of those development studios potentially just going away, shutting their doors because they ran out of money and they couldn't continue to develop games when they
Mm-hmm.
weren't making enough, they instead became a first party for a platform or became owned by a big third party publisher. Like that could have been Ninja Theory, that could have been Obsidian that closed their doors forever. But instead, Microsoft stepped up, made them a part of Xbox Game Studios. We got most recently we have Returnal's developer Housemark that got acquired by Sony, and there's the whole all the rumors that Bluepoint Games might also be that as well. Um, this is the way the industry's always been. This doesn't hurt diversity because although Sony may tell their studios what to make. Xbox Game Studios doesn't. Those studios still have their own creative freedom to make whatever they want. But even if Xbox was doing that, the difference has what this gaming industry always has enjoyed is there is always an indie developer willing to step into the void. There's always a developer that comes up and you find out how great they actually were. They do something different that no one else does. They take risks that big publishers with AAA games would never do. That's always going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
10 years ago, we didn't know who Larian Studios was, but we know who Larian Studios is now.
Yeah.
10 years ago, like 20 years ago, when Interplay was a big deal, and when they went down, people had no idea that out of the ashes of that would be BioWare, would be Obsidian, in Exile. And then now that BioWare is on the way down, there are studios born out of what came from BioWare that's picking up the flag and continuing on with Human Head, with Archetype Entertainment, Yellow Brick Games. There will always be indie developers that will that will show their worth. We see games like Death's Door,
Mm-hmm.
and people are like that's a game that a year ago nobody knew existed.
True.
And now for the past 2 weeks is all people have been talking about. Like there is never going to be indie developers or not, like there's a lack of diversity in the gaming industry. If you feel like there's a lack of diversity in the gaming industry, you need to stop playing AAA games all your life because that's like clearly all you play. Play some AA games, play some indies. You'll get your diversity. There's always quality there. And the ones that do the best are the most successful. They get the best reviews. They're the ones that become these mid-size AA studios. They're the ones that come up, and then now in the future there'll be these new studios that we talk about so highly. So there's no issue with diversity in the gaming industry. I think Sean is he's worried about something that doesn't need to be worried about.
Mm. Yeah, at a certain point, that's mostly what it just comes back to. It's always a story around something. If you dig deeper into it, part of the reason I just think in general, Sony he's not even a part of Sony anymore, but he's been a part of Sony for like 30 plus years, and when he hears conversation about what's happening on other platforms and the validity of everything that's going on there, and then you just tie the diversity part into it, it's kind of just feels like, even if you're not a part of that family anymore, it's like your family's under attack, so you got to come to, not say the rescue or anything, but you got to put in your piece on what you think is going on when it comes to just that conversation in general in an unofficial capacity, because Sony's not going to come out and do that, unfortunately. But no, you're absolutely right, and I agree 100% on it, what you had to say on that. But moving on from Sean Layton and Game Pass talk, let's talk about sales in general. So Xbox recently, over the last couple of weeks, announced that the Xbox Series S and X are by far the best-selling Xboxes ever. And then PlayStation 5 comes out, and once again, breaking sales. They have passed 10.1 million units sold to date, which is less than a year, which surpasses pretty much every system that they ever sold. And it's, once again, we're on pace to break PS2 numbers for the PS5, but we all know that's about longevity and not about how fast you can get there. That number is only going to get eclipsed if they stop making systems in general, and they not making systems, but stop making next generation consoles, and they just stick with the PS5. That's the only way I think PS2 is ever going to get eclipsed by at least Sony. I don't even know if Nintendo's going to get there, because I think Nintendo might refresh their Switch beforehand and kind of take themselves out of the race. But Slow-Mo, like, we're not really not that big of a news, but what do you think of the health of the gaming industry as of right now? Because everybody's eating, everybody's doing well, PlayStation's doing well, Sony's doing well, and I just think that the conversation that everybody can do well in this media and do well in this atmosphere bodes well for the gaming industry. So what do you think about it?
Yeah, I mean, I've been saying this for a little while now that like the gaming industry has grown so much that like the times where where if someone was in third place, and there'll always be articles like, yo, so when will said company give up on said platform? And it's just like, no, no, that's not happening, because they're all making money. They're all doing great. They're all being profitable, and they're all have very healthy ecosystems. So it's like, it's not, none of these companies need to or just because they're not making as much as like two others, do they need to give this up and move on to something else? No, that's not the case. Gaming has grown so much, and you even look at, like, say, I think we were talking about this last night in regards to sales numbers of like some older games, and we were just like, we couldn't believe that, like, some of the sales numbers that we were seeing for like an older game in the article was like a big deal back then. Cause now, like, these games are selling way more, and it's because there are more gamers out there to sell to, and gaming has become more mainstream. Gaming, overall, makes more money than the music industry and the movie industry. This is the reason why you see Amazon and Google and Netflix. There's so many other companies that are trying to get a piece of this pie, because there's a lot out there to get a hold of, and it's it's not shocking at all to see that, oh, the Xbox Series X and S consoles are outselling the previous Xboxes, and this is the, like, so far, the best start that they've had. Well, I'm not shocked at all. Of course it is. There's more gamers out there to enjoy these games with. PlayStation 5 is outselling, as far as time adjusted to what things were back in 2013, the PlayStation 4. Well, yeah, because there, even with shortages, yeah, because there's more gamers out here to enjoy these games, and so yeah, it shouldn't be shocking to anybody at all.
Yeah,
You got
no.
a super chat, by the way.
Yeah, I just seen it. Shout out to Erodimus with the $5 super chat. Death Door is a game of the year. Yeah, I said it. I will say it again until Psychonauts 2 comes out. 2021 is the year of the indie and AA game. Look, there, I don't know, man. There's been some good AAA games that came out this year. I mean, Ratchet and Clank is definitely one of them. Even though, and I do believe Ratchet and Clank is just a great looking Ratchet and Clank game, but you can't take away the fact that that game looks incredible, plays incredible, and stuff like that. And I think Returnal would have been a really good one if a lot of people were able to play that game day one without all of the issues. And I kind of think that's kind of been the story of this beginning of this generation. Games that really could have stood out and did something that most people didn't think it could do kind of got, overshadowed by the fact that they had issues. Like Outriders was one of those games. If the game would have worked flawlessly day one and never had no issues, can you imagine what the hype and support of that game was? People were supporting that game even when it was busted. We had people like Lord Cognito, shout out to him and the Iron Lords. He was willing to give them a complete pass on deleting all his gear on his character and gave them
3 weeks.
Gave the dog.
Play the game for
He
3
gave
weeks.
those dudes.
Terrible.
He gave those dudes a long time before he pretty much gave up on that game. So I do agree. The games that have worked. Damn, that's a good shot right there. The games that have worked have been definitely the indie games. Yeah.
Time.
Go ahead.
Sakuda, thank you in the chat for bringing this up. I'm gonna tell you why Horizon Zero Dawn is losing this.
I know why
right
it's
now.
losing. It should be losing.
No, it's losing because you can't get the name right for nothing. You've said the name wrong this entire show so badly that you even wrote it wrong. You wrote Horizon Zero West.
Oh, it did. Well, people knew what it was.
Oh my! No, they don't, because
They
it
do.
could be, because if you just change one word, it's Horizon Forbidden West, which isn't out yet.
No. Oh, Dawn. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So are you trying? Wait. Are you trying to say something? I'm trying to say I rigged it, slow mo.
No, I'm just saying. I'm
Exactly.
saying
People know
I
what it
I don't
means.
understand how not only do you say words wrong, but you write them wrong too. It's
Because
just it makes
I
no
was
sense.
saying the word as I was writing it. You could have kept that to yourself, sir. You had to breathe at the
No, no,
you had to
no.
breathe at the slow mo's attention, man.
Thank you for bringing that to my attention.
Oh
This is
man, I feel bad.
ridiculous.
Okay. Shout out to After His Passion with the $10 super chat. Gaming has reached a point where it is no longer about a slice of the pie. It's about the pie expanding, and there's being enough for all the industry players now, and it'll expand even more. Absolutely. Shout out to you
Yeah.
with all the great facts. Always supporting the channel, always supporting us on both platforms. Really appreciate you, bro. Thanks for coming through.
Wow, they even added in the corny dance routines during timeouts in this.
Oh
That's
yeah,
pretty
they
crazy.
dog they went all out on NBA, dog. They went all out on NBA. Like they be shimmying, they be doing all types of crazy stuff in the halftime show and everything, bro. Or just in timeouts. It's a fun game, man. It's by far one of the best looking games on next gen. I mean, it shouldn't be too hard as a sports game, but I think it's more about the animation that they put into the game. Visual concepts is on a different level when it comes to that. That's the one thing I will give them credit for. And then all the rest of that goes to 2K when it comes to the monetization side of it. But absolutely, man. Appreciate you, Actor's Passion. But no, I he threw me off with that because I can't believe I actually did put West at the end of that. But then again, it was still gonna win. Breath of the Wild was gonna win no matter what, Slow-Mo. You do know that, right?
Well, you know what? You're probably right
Yeah.
because people have this unnatural obsession with Zelda and overrating any Zelda game. So yeah, you're right. It was going to win regardless.
Yeah, and if Breath of the Wild 2 would have came out this year and not sometime next year, it would have won Game of the Year this year, hands down. But
You know what? They could take unfinished Breath of the Wild 2 right now and launch it right
it
now,
win
and it will
Game of the Year.
sell. It will win Game of the Year. I'm glad you admit that an unfinished game will still win Game of the Year just because it's Zelda. Because
Yeah,
that's
Zelda.
exactly what it is. It makes no sense to me. But anyway, matter of fact, I have a question for you because if you look at what
Expert said
Robin
Forte. Expert said Forte you can pronounce or write any way your heart desires. That's what I'm talking about. Let's go.
expert, don't give him any motivation to continue this foolishness. Okay, we want him to do better, not to just be complacent and getting words wrong all the time.
Mid
Anyway,
IQ said Nintendo got all the hearts and minds. Yeah, he's right about that too.
yeah, that's true.
Go ahead, Solomon.
So game of the year. Let's have a quick little side
Okay.
topic about this real quick.
Okay.
It's now August. We're coming into the home stretch of things. There are a good number of games that still haven't come out yet. Battlefield 2042, Halo Infinite, Deathloop, Kane of Bridge of Spirits. It's a lot of games that still haven't come out yet. But that's it. The majority of the year is already over.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm looking at because typically it's about what 5 or 6 games get nominated for Game of the Year.
Yeah.
There haven't been a lot of AAA games that have been worthy.
Mm.
And so I've seen a lot of people recently talk about how, oh, this is the worst year for gaming and that kind of stuff, right? And I kind of wonder what they play because I've been enjoying myself and playing, a lot of games. Is it possible that because usually what happens with Game of the Year is that there's that one token indie, that one token indie that gets nominated. It's got no shot of winning, but it gets nominated anyway, right? Like Hades, uh, Celeste got nominated one year. It's always one. This
Mm-hmm.
is how Game of the Year always turns out. There's always one token indie. There's always one token Nintendo game nominated, whether it deserved to be or not. Last year was Animal Crossing, and then there's like a bunch of action adventure AAA games because that's what always sells. Like for certain, sports and racing games have no shot. It could be the best racing game ever. Forza Horizon 5 could be the best racer that ever existed. It will not get nominated for Game of the Year. Why? It's a racing game. So that's it. There's so many indies, some really good indies that have come out that I wonder if they're going to have to add more indies to this category. Or is it possible Halo Infinite might actually have a shot? It's less competition. What do you think?
You might be right.
I'm thinking Death's Door is a lock. Not for Game of the Year. It's a lock for a nomination.
Oh, it's definitely a knock for a nomination. I think that 100%.
I think Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart is a lock for a nomination.
Yeah, well, they're going to have a AAA game in there.
They're going to have more than one.
Well, how many Sony first party do you think gonna be in there? You think Miles Morales will be in there?
No, because that came out last year.
No, but it came out after. Didn't it come out after the
No,
or it came out before?
No, it came out before.
Well, we know Cyberpunk would have been in there if they would actually had a game that worked.
Some nominations for other categories, but not Game of the Year.
Oh, okay, got you. Well, we know Cyberpunk would have been up there if the game actually worked. It would have been.
Yeah, probably, because that's the other thing. Like the studios that are the media darling studios, like Overwatch won that one year. Overwatch didn't deserve to win, but that's back before Blizzard. Back when Blizzard was beloved.
Right.
So back when BioWare was beloved, Dragon Age Inquisition won. And why? It was off of the strength of the fact that they had just finished the Mass Effect trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
So there's always like freaking Fallout 4 got a nomination. You know damn well that game didn't deserve to be nominated. Come on. But like the people giving it hundreds. Fallout 4 giving it hundreds, even though like they were saying that the bugs were charming.
Yeah, that's true.
But those kind of all those studios I just mentioned don't have any they don't have any leeway with gamers and media types any further.
Which one
they've screwed it all away.
Which one of the Nintendo IPs do you think gonna be in the Game of the Year conversation they released this year?
Isn't it a Pokemon coming out?
It comes out at the end of the year, November.
Man, that might be too late.
Yeah,
they did a Mario Golf, right?
I don't know. Mario Golf definitely ain't gonna be in the Game of the Year conversation. As much as I want to say Mario Kart, Mario Golf is that deal. It is fun, man, but it ain't gonna be in the Game of the Year. Look, man, listen, it's basically a ripoff of everybody's golf because Sony, I feel like, did the better golf game when it comes to that type of gameplay. But yeah, it's definitely not going to be that. Maybe what was the game that what game just came out for them? Maybe Monster Hunter Stories 2, depending on Monster Hunter Rise.
I mean, okay.
If there's a Nintendo, those I don't know, man, because they really haven't came out with anything this year. I mean, well, Metroid comes out at the end of the year, so it might be Metroid. It might be Dread.
What's up, Jedi? See the homie Jet in the chat.
Yeah. It might be Dread. Dread might be it. If it's as good as people think it's gonna be.
Dread?
Metroid Dread?
No.
If it is slow-mo?
No, it's not. No. It's not.
So you want to say that Mario Golf has a chance to be in there, but Metroid Dread doesn't?
Well, all right. When is Metroid Dread coming out?
September, I believe.
All right, probably. You're probably right. It probably will get nominated. They gotta do one Nintendo nomination. They do it every year.
Yeah, they gotta
Nintendo has to get their nomination.
The only publisher or manufacturer of systems that don't get nominations every year is Microsoft.
Right. Even Ori
couldn't even get up in there, and I game was great.
That's why I wanted to bring it up, because like let's say just for the sake of argument, Halo Infinite's campaign is the best campaign that 343's ever done.
It won't get nominated.
You say it still won't get nominated.
It won't get nominated. If it does, because part of me feels like if it gets nominated, it's going to be because it's like a sympathy vote, a pity vote, some stuff like that. It's like, are you really voting on this just because you want to be nice to Microsoft? Now, I'm not saying, like, the last time Halo was Game of the Year material, I think was Halo 3. Honestly,
Halo 3.
yeah, Halo 3, Halo 1 actually won it. The first Halo
Wait a
did.
minute. No, it wasn't Halo Reach. Halo Reach, I don't think was in.
No,
Was
Halo
ever,
Reach didn't get up there. It was Halo 3.
No.
Halo 3 was the
Halo
last
3,
time they
yeah.
had it. Well, I don't think it didn't win Game of the Year that year. It was up there. Halo Combat Evolved was the only Halo, I believe, that won Game of the Year. But yeah, Microsoft, I mean, they have opportunities. They got a bunch. They got Halo coming out. They got Forza. The thing with Forza is it kind of gets thrown, and they throw it in a weird category, like sports category. And I'm sitting there like, is it a sport? Yeah, it's technically a sport, but then they took away the racing category. Remember when they did? I was like, where's the racing category? Oh no, it's just all sports now.
Right.
So it's like,
and every time Forza comes out, it wins it.
Hands down, and it's going to win it this time.
It's a high quality game being put up against very generic run of the mill sports games that are just really roster updates and minor improvements here and there.
Absolutely.
So they're glorified patches or expansions to a previous sports game. So like it's not even a competition. If Forza Horizon 5 is better than Forza Horizon 4, it absolutely deserves to be nominated for Game of the Year. But it won't be.
It won't
because it's a racing game.
Yeah.
After his passion with the $5 super chat says, actually, did we get his previous?
Yeah, we got it.
No.
I got it.
Okay.
Oh no, we didn't. I didn't see this one. So
okay. Hold on. I'll take care of it.
Go ahead.
After his passion with the $5 super chat says, Forte is not butchering the English language. He's expanding the lexicon. Slow-mo doesn't understand Forte's genius. That
he made me feel so good about myself.
I mean, it's like you clearly are giving him way more credit than he deserves.
No, man.
And the other $5 super chat says Bethesda would never win another Game of the Year. Can you guess why? I think he's insinuating it's because
they're owned by Microsoft.
Because they're owned by Microsoft. I'm going to say it's because even before they got owned by Microsoft, that the overall gaming media fell out of love
with Bethesda games.
With Bethesda after Fallout 76, and so they'll never be nominated again. Nor do I feel that Fallout 4 deserved to be nominated. I can see Skyrim, even though I'm not really into that game, but so many people love that game that I think it deserved to be, nominated and stuff like that. But Bethesda is what I think is one of those studios that have kind of coasted on their popularity. Bethesda Game Studios, that is, not like the published studios and stuff, but. I feel like they're going to have to prove themselves again. Hopefully, Starfield it turns out to be everything that everyone hopes it is, and that will be their kind of like return to form. But we'll see. But regardless, I think Game of the Year this year is going to be very interesting. I don't think there's going to be any game that's going to be like, oh, it's definitely this game.
Yeah. Well, 11/11/2022 will be the day we see. I think that might be the first time that Microsoft might actually have a chance of winning a Game of the Year. Honestly, I'm not saying that Halo can't do it. I would be highly surprised if it does, and be happy, because I feel like that's a redemption story for a studio that definitely needs it. Because 343 has kind of been under the gun ever since they acquired or was pretty much given the Halo IP, and to some people's dismay, they feel like they don't deserve it. They don't, they shouldn't be the stewards of that great franchise. But if they could turn it around and make this game as good as a lot of people want it to be, and make that multiplayer and that single player sing, then yeah, it's definitely a possibility that could happen.
You know what? Since you're bringing up Halo Infinite,
that was the transition.
Just go ahead and get into it.
Halo technical beta final impressions. Me and Slomo, but I think Slomo definitely played it more than I did because I had to work over the weekend. But we both put a lot of time into it. I know. Did you get a chance to play the actual PvP mode of it?
Yes.
So you did get
Yeah.
a chance to do
They
that.
did it
So
for about 3
3
hours,
hours.
on last Sunday.
Okay.
And so basically, I'll just go do an
Yeah,
overview
you
real
go do
real
your
quick of
overview on what you thought of everything, and
Oh, no, I mean, I was gonna talk about, like, how 343 laid everything out, and
yeah, go ahead.
so this was a technical preview. It wasn't a beta, it wasn't a closed beta, open beta. Probably would get more flights coming later on that will be more along those lines to allow people to dig into different modes and PvP even further. But all this really had us do was do bot arena, which was 4 players going up against 4 bots, and they have 4 difficulty classes of bots. And so the lowest is recruit, but they didn't actually allow us to play against recruits because, I mean, honestly, like that,
Did you did you see
there
the
would be no purpose.
did you see the tier that we played against on the first day? Can you
Yeah,
imagine
first day.
what was recruit? What would a cruise would have
They just
been?
stand there.
Like?
They just stand there and shoot at the ground, right?
We
So
didn't even
like,
go shoot at you.
the second most difficult class is the Marine bots, and I mean they were just getting slaughtered left and right. It was that's the one where me and Forte played together the very first
Very
day,
first day, yeah.
and it was more about getting used to the new weapons, the feel of the weapons, the maps. That first day was only one map available to play, live fire, live fire. I like that map though. I like it. The guns, and the changes that they've made. So going from Halo Guardians to Halo Infinite, they've taken out the Spartan charge, they've taken out the ground pound, they've taken out the thruster dodge away from a Spartan charge. They've taken out the assassinations. It's very much old school Halo where you are uh, character movement is very important in avoiding enemy fire and one-on-one fights. Uh, Being familiar with the weapons and how they work is very important. They did add sprint though, although sprint's not as fast as some other games. It still allows the pace of the game to be quicker than previous Halo multiplayer games. And even though you have ADS, it's having ADS is like there are a lot of situations where you should just do hip fire.
Oh,
Just like
absolutely.
because you're trying to aim down sights and shoot someone, and once they hit you back, you getting knocked out of ADS. You're just hurting yourself at that point. So, but it's I was really enjoying it. The very next day they moved everyone from Marine ODST. I mean, sorry, from Marine bots to ODST bots. I didn't. There was a difference in competency of those. They were way more grenade spam
I just
heavy.
saw way more grenades than anything.
Yeah, they just throw a lot of grenades.
It's like, where y'all pulling
They
grenades from, y'all butt?
exactly. How do y'all have so many grenades? Like, good grief.
Good God.
Like it's just raining grenades in the sky. It's crazy. But they weren't difficult though. And they were very predictable. Everyone would know at the start of a match that all the ODST bots will run towards one of the like the utilities on the map to get. Like it, or they will run towards in live fire. They will all run towards the center to try to grab the sniper rifle.
Mm-hmm.
Or in recharge, or one of the other maps, they will all run towards the active camo. And so people would just run there, and then we'd be spamming grenades at them as they were all huddled together like a bunch of idiots. You know, it just wasn't. The AI still needs some work. People were afraid of the Spartan bots, man. I was working them things over. They were nobodies, right?
People
So
were scared to go around corners on the Spartan bots, man. It was crazy.
like why? It's like they're not that difficult. Come on. But the different, but as soon as actual live players got into it, that's when it really, really, really got fun. I think this is it's shaping up to be the best PvP that 343 has done for Halo, which is definitely something that is good to know. And I think my very first match, I had like 24 kills, like PvP match against other players. I had like 24 kills, 10 deaths. Was feeling good. And then
Man,
the
you was
very
playing
next
against the.
match,
Go ahead.
hmm?
Very next.
And
Very next.
very next match,
Go ahead, say
very next
it.
match,
Go ahead, and say it. The very next match, you what?
man, it was
6 and
sweaty.
23.
Whoa, 23! Come on now. No, it was more like 8 and 13, and I was
Oh.
just like,
No.
oh. I was like, oh, okay, well,
Yeah, this is
brought me
Halo. This
back
is
down to
Halo
earth for a
PvP
moment.
right here.
Exactly. So it was like every other match I was like for 3 hours I was playing. It was just like every other match was like good match, we won, bad match, got my head slapped. And it was just but I was loving it though because it was like this is Halo, this is map control. When is that rocket launcher coming back up? Whether even if you don't want the rocket launcher, you don't want the other team to get the rocket launcher. So you're watching for the rocket launcher because
Right.
other people are going to go after it. Let me go pull out the battle rifle, and as soon as I see someone getting near that rocket launcher, I just start knocking them down, or I pick it up myself and I just start firing off on dudes. Like it's old school Halo.
Right.
I like it a lot. I'm looking forward to playing more of it. Hopefully, and I do expect this to happen, and that like maybe in September, maybe next month, we'll get another flight coming in, and it will be more. There'll be no bots. It'll be more just PvP. But like I've been doing a lot of talking, man. What were your impressions?
Oh man, my impressions. I loved it. I talked to Slow Mo the day that they showed off the first PvP match because a lot of people can say, just show us a full match. Could have kept showing, Slow Mo hated it how the way they broke it up at E3 where they just showed us kind of just the gameplay from a detached camera angle. He was like, that's not gameplay. So he wanted to see actual gameplay of it too. And when I saw the gameplay, I was like, man, this looks slow. And I was a little worried at first. But then I thought about it. I was like, you know what? Before I take to Twitter and say anything stupid that I can't take back, because that definitely does happen to people on Twitter a lot. I said, I said, let me wait until this this game come out because I'll be playing it in less than a day. So, and once I got in, I was thoroughly shocked how much faster that game moves. Now, I still think Guardians moves faster because you have a higher run speed in Guardians, especially with the abilities like the dash and the dodge and everything like that, and the ground pound. You can just get across the map a lot quicker in some regards. But the fact that they boosted your walk speed was really noticeable, like to the point where you didn't even have to really run in the game. Like if you run in the game, you're on radar. If you walk, you're not. They tried to do a really good gameplay balance versus having your shield recharge versus not being able to have it recharged like they did in Halo 5. If you like sprint in Halo 5, your shields didn't recharge until you actually stopped. In this game, it just recharges naturally, and it actually recharges. It feels like a lot faster even than Halo 5's recharge. So it basically promoted, fast gameplay, get back into the action. I think it set out to do exactly what it needed to do. The one, and like you talked about the bots and everything, they were cupcakes on day one. Day two, it's like you got killed by a couple of grenades. It's like, okay, this is just a grenade spam. I'm just gonna, watch these corners because the computer see you come around that corner. First a grenade comes, then comes a BR or whatever gun they're shooting you with. Mostly the sidekick, because the sidekick was on a whole nother level, especially when you got up the Spartan difficulty. I felt like a god running around with the sidekick, the sidearm. It's really, really good. Got a really high TTK. Really enjoyed it a lot.
Not OP like the Halo Combat.
Yeah, it's not OP like the hand cannon in Halo Combat Evolved. So I feel like it's a learning curve. It's very steep, but it's a learning curve. And I didn't know how I felt about it, but no aim assist. Like there is aim assist in it, but it is like probably the weakest aim assist I've ever played in a console shooter. Like to the point where with the sniper, I literally had to get to the point where if I'm not, if you see somebody get sniped and get a headshot in Halo Infinite while they're running across the map, or like this really quick scope or something, they did that. That was work. Unless they come back and add a little bit more aim assist to the game, Lord have mercy. The aiming was phenomenal. It took a minute to get used to, but I prefer this type of skill. The more you play the game, the better your shot will get. I think going into, we didn't talk about the armory, but I think the armory is a great place for you to learn the distance and engagements in guns. That's where I realize not what guns to use and what, distances, but how to use that gun. Like, if you're watching the Spartans run back and forth across the armory and stuff, you're like, okay, if I'm using the BR, you get knocked out of your scope if they shoot at you. So I'm not going, like if they're like midway, I'm not going to look down sight because it's a good chance that they could just shoot me with a sidearm, or they could shoot me with the auto rifle or the assault rifle and knock me out of my scope. But if they're further away, like halfway across the map, then you might want to pull out your scope and use your scope then, because it's a better chance that even if they do hit you, it won't be consistent enough to the point where they're always knocking you out of it. So there's like a really good trade-off in the gameplay when it comes to that. I thought it would drive me nuts that they kept knocking me out of my scope. But
the sniper rifle is better off on maps that we haven't been able to enjoy yet. Like big team battle, like the kind of maps that you would have like enjoyed and say like playing on Blood Gulch and stuff like that back in the day. Like those kind of maps, you're going to see a lot more use out of stuff like the sniper rifle. Will be way more effective. Like having the sniper rifle on live fire or Bazaar. Like well, actually, I don't even recall ever seeing it on Bazaar. I think they only had the rockets up on the rocket launch up on Bazaar. But regardless, I like some weapons aren't going to be all that useful. We did get a super chat from the Med IQ. $5 super chat. Appreciate that, bro. He says, how do y'all feel about the new weapons? I enjoyed the Commando, and the Ravager was putting in work. Me personally, I agree with you.
Ravager was
on the Commando.
Really? You like the command? I was hit or miss on the Commando.
Commando's my favorite weapon in Halo Infinite right now. Like every time I got a Commando, I just like let's go to work. Like I'm talking, I'm killing like 2 or 3 people before somebody can put me down. Like I was every single time I had it, I loved it. It was I see someone saying that they think it needs a buff. I'm like, if they buff it, people are going to be asking for a nerf immediately, because I felt like that the damage it does and where it is right now is perfect. I like that one. I like the pistol. I think the BR is good. The BR is in a good place, and I really like how the assault rifle feels. I didn't get a chance to touch the Ravager actually. I did use it, not very often, and I planned on going into the academy and just doing the training on it, just because like that one, and there's that other one, I can't remember the name of the other one, the one that's like a harpoon, what's it called?
The skewer.
Yeah, because I was missing that every single
I got a couple people with that boy right in their head, and
it's a one-shot kill.
Man, it's a one-shot kill. No matter where you hit them at with that gun. You just gotta hit him.
Yeah, like it's like, and then you miss, and then the reload on it. So like, if I miss, I'm just switching to my other weapon, because I'm not gonna try to reload in front of you. And the reload takes like 3 seconds.
It's pretty ridiculous, bro. It's pretty ridiculous. But listen, man, can you imagine? I was playing now they gave you the ability to change your FOV. Now I didn't play it. I didn't check it on console. Did you play it on your Xbox Series S?
I did play it a little bit on my Series S.
Did it allow you to change the FOV on Series S?
I didn't even check. I
didn't check either on Xbox. Can anybody in the chat verify? I mean, I know Rand, I know you played it all on Xbox, or anybody else. Could you change the FOV? Because on PC you can go up to 120. When I was on PC, I put it at 100. It's just not something I'm used to being a thing on console, so I didn't even go in there to check to see if you could change it. But if you did change your
that's pretty
FOV,
much.
what did you change it to?
Yeah, that's pretty much the reason why I didn't check it, because I'm like I didn't expect it to be there, and so I didn't even bother looking. But you asking me about that, it kind of brings me to something I thought. Well, I kind of, and of course it's a technical preview, so I'm not like harping on this or anything.
Yeah.
But performance on PC was very, very inconsistent and spotty.
Yes.
It's not optimized very well right now for PC. People with 3090s, I got a 3070, and they're people with even like the 20 series Nvidia's cards, and they're just like, yeah, I gotta put it on medium just to get a high frame rate, and it's people moving the resolution down to 1080p and put in and just so they can have the frame rate at 120. And I'm just like, yo, it really shouldn't be this resource heavy. For me, I was playing at 1440p ultra settings, and I knew it was an optimization issue. There was something going on because my FPS was yo-yoing. I was using MSI Afterburner to check my, look at my FPS in real time while I was playing. And I was averaging at the time anywhere between like 75 and 85 frames per second. And then on the second day, it kept going from like 75, 80 to 85 FPS to 15. Like in a second. And so that's extremely jarring. And then it would stay there for like 10 seconds at like 15, 25 frames per second, then go back up. And I'm just like, nah, this ain't right. So I started looking around the internet, and people were saying, well, on Saturday when I went back to it, people were saying, pick your minimum frame rate to 144 frames per second and your maximum to 144 frames per second. Basically, whatever the hertz of your monitor is, or your TV, make that the minimum and maximum on PC, and then that would it would kind of force the game to try to stick to that frame rate. And me doing that kept it over 100 frames per second for the rest of my time playing it. Like it stayed in the 110 to 120 range going forward, which at 1440p and ultra settings is ultra graphical settings is pretty nice. Now on Friday, because of all that, I didn't know what to do. I didn't see that whole what to change it to thing. I said, let me just play this on Xbox, because I can't play it on PC right now. It's unplayable with the way it was playing. First match, Forte.
Uh-oh, here we go.
First match, the game crashes. I'm not even halfway through the match, like game crash. I said, all right, let's start over. I get back in, do a match, complete it, do another match, complete it, go into a fourth match. I get logged into the floor. Like when I get into the game, it's on recharge, the recharge map. I'm halfway through the floor. It was crazy. I'm just like, what's happening here? I can fire my gun, I can throw grenades, but I'm halfway through the floor. So I can't do anything. So I just quit the game, and I just said, I think I'm done tonight. So it's got some performance issues, which is fine. As I said before, it's a technical preview. You rather deal with that in July in a technical preview than in November or October or whatever, whenever this game comes out and it's the full release and you're dealing with that kind of stuff. So I'm fine. I'm fine with it. It's just the performance stuff is something that when I did the survey and I did my feedback to them, I made sure they were aware of that so that they could try to get that stuff rectified in the future.
Oh, speaking of that, how long did you do with the survey?
Oh, that survey took forever, man. That was, I mean, I was like, bro, how many questions y'all got left? Like, how long is this going to take? It took me probably about 30 minutes to finish the survey.
Wait. When they asked you that one question, before they got to like your controller inputs and stuff, they said, we want to have we're balancing how long the survey is versus, player time. Would you like to answer more questions about this? And when you clicked it, it was like controller, and you was like, no. And then they
I'm
ask
like,
you,
oh my
and
gosh, this survey.
then when you
Jeez.
get to the end, it gives you like a list, like this list of stuff. It's like, do you want to talk? Do you want to keep going and talk about this in your survey? And it's like 7 extra things, and I was like, no, in survey.
Yeah, the last 5 minutes of that survey, I just started clicking stuff, man. I'm just like, nope, yep, no, it was great, it's great. Like I'm just like, in this,
in
in this.
this, in this, in this now,
Put
in
me out of
this
my
now.
misery. Like this is too long. But no, like especially at the end, you could actually like type out like think, well, what do you have any additional feedback about this category? And so you remember I was writing every little thing that I noticed down and things I thought needed adjusting and stuff like that. So yeah. Um, yeah, I made sure that I gave them all the feedback that I possibly could. Hopefully, but when we get into the next flight, none of that stuff would be present.
Yeah, definitely. We put a poll up in the chat. What was your favorite multiplayer map in the Halo Infinite technical beta? I know a lot of people like, I'm gonna say Recharge. Slow-mo, what was your favorite?
Recharge.
Recharge. What did
Yeah,
you like about
recharge.
it?
I liked the layout of it. It had that verticality that really allowed the grappling hook to be really useful. And it was I mean I just liked the design of it. It looked great. And once you really learn the map, you kind of learned how, when you got certain weapons, where to go to be more
Mm-hmm.
effective with it. Um, Once you learned where the weapons would respawn at, and how to defend the map better, it was just like the best map period. Like live fire, I like live fire as well, but live fire is a little bit more simplistic.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really care for Bizarre all that much, but yeah, recharge was the best one for me.
Cool. Yeah, man, I am very excited for what I played in this technical beta. I think I said this on Brap yesterday. I was like, if they could give us this same experience day one, like I know some people had issues when it came to partying up and getting crashed to the dashboard, or black screen of death, and then next thing you know, you're back at the lobby and your friends are playing. I know that was an issue on day one. They kind of sorted that out for the most part after the first day. Granted, it wasn't as many people as you would want to see in there, and it's going to be only magnified once the game comes out. But if they can give us the experience that we got on day one, because we inherently know there's going to be an issue on day one with this game. The game,
Oh yeah,
it's
of course.
impossible for this game not to have an issue. But if they can get
And 343 has not launched
a game that
a
hasn't had an
game that
issue,
hasn't had a ton of issues that long.
right?
So I'm fully expecting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if they can give me that experience that we got on the first day of that technical beta, and that be the worst of it, Halo's going to be in a great place. And I think in general, this goes back to what Phil Spencer was saying when it comes to Halo. He was like, Halo is always going to be that thing that people are going to be excited for. They're not gonna, they have confidence in Halo, and we see why. I think the year off really probably helped this game a lot, especially when it comes to the lighting and everything, because the lighting looked phenomenal. You could definitely see the shadow quality was definitely bumped up and stuff like that. The texture quality on the weapons and stuff were really good. And it gives me a little bit better hope for the single player, because we all know when it comes to multiplayer always doesn't look as good as a single player looks. Because the single player always, they always downscale stuff for the multiplayer due to like networking and stuff like that. So it does get me very excited to see exactly what's going to happen with this game in the future when it does release.
I agree.
All right. Well, moving on. So I know you looking forward to this. Did you okay, did you read the that tweet long that I sent you?
Did I
Oh,
sent it to you and all of our Destiny buddies. I sent the tweet to you guys. I was
oh
like, hey,
man.
Just here's some interesting information that for PvP for you Destiny guys. And this came from the assistant game director for Destiny 2, right?
Yes.
Okay. Well, you know what? Let's read it. Let's go through it. Let's look at this. Okay, because clearly I think that Bungie is looking at the landscape of PvP games and first person shooters in particular, and like, oh, we might need to address this finally. So okay, so Joe Blackburn, assistant game director for Destiny 2, working for Bungie. He said, ahead of the showcase this month, I wanted to take a little time to talk about Destiny PvP. Thank you, Joe. You finally, decided to talk about something that people have been asking you guys to talk about for a full year. Anyway, competitive modes are part of what makes this game special. I can't imagine a version of Destiny 2 that doesn't involve getting a sweet new gun and taking it for a spin in the Crucible. This year, the team has spent a lot of our future-facing effort on plussing up.
Yeah,
Is that
he used the word plussing up. You're right. Keep going.
okay? All right. That's a
He
forte
he he,
word.
he did use the word plussing up, and I was like, what is plussing up? But okay.
Exactly. What is that word? Okay. Plussing up the current Crucible experience. You've seen some of this already in stasis balancing, reputation updates, and shifting weapon metas. Next season, you'll continue to see this effort with not only changes to 3 peaking, but also what the team has been planning for the revamp of Trials of Osiris. Tune in on August 24th for more info. We've got to keep our foot on the gas when it comes to revitalizing PvP pursuits and keeping gameplay metas fresh. This isn't something we'll ever be done with, but we know we also have room to grow when it comes to new maps and modes. The first half of 2021, we've been working on the foundation, but now we're spinning up teams on new maps and modes. We believe in this investment, but it's going to take some time before you start seeing results in game. The ultimate goal here is consistency. If you play PvP, the team wants you to understand that you will be getting new maps and modes every year and that the cadence of those coming out feels predictable. But in order to get to predictable, we need to open the faucet again. New maps take time to get right, so open the faucet for S16. What's going on with my eyes? I'm sorry. Okay. The team
Oh,
is
someone having a
working on
problem.
porting. We're working on porting 2 vaulted Destiny 2 maps to be compatible with our engine updates. When we upgrade our engine with Beyond Light, it means we had to hand port all of our Destiny 2 maps and modes. So while it may seem from the outside like we're just pushing a button, there's a significant lift from the team to get more of this content back in rotation. After reprised maps in season 16. Oh, that's what he meant, S16. He meant season 16. Okay. Season 16, season 17 will come with a brand new map. There are a bunch of new environments in Destiny 2, and we're excited to start bringing them into the Crucible. Finally, after those 3 maps are added to the rotation in season 16 and 17, we will be remastering a Destiny 1 map and bringing it to Destiny 2 for time in season 18. All this effort is going to be done in parallel with the team looking to fund the far future with a predictable roadmap of maps and Lightfall and beyond. But maps are just part of the recipe here. We also know we need to support modes. Good grief. All of this is a lot.
Oh, it's 22. It's 22 tweets. Keep going.
God, this is
You the way. Hey, listen. I didn't
I feel
expect you.
like
I didn't expect you to.
I feel like I'm playing Witcher 3 right now.
Oh Lord, that bad, huh?
Okay, all right. Let's okay. First, the team is investigating getting Rift in Destiny 2 next year. It's been too long since we've dunked on some Guardians. The Destiny sandbox has been sped up in Destiny 2, so right now the team is validating that the mode still holds up with our new gameplay. Second, the team is working on multiple brand new modes in 2022. We aren't quite ready to spoil these yet, but we're excited to offer new twists and rules to the ways you can make Shaxx proud. Finally, he said finally like in 4 tweets, and there is no finally. This tweet thread never ends. Anyway, finally, after the dust settles on the Trials update in season 15, we want to look at what other wait a minute, what season are they on now?
They're on season 14 now.
So he's talking about how long are these seasons? 3 months?
3 months. Continue.
So when he talked about this starting in
When
season
he said,
16,
when he's talking about season 17, he's
that's
talking about
that's
next
9
summer.
months from now.
Next summer.
So
Yes.
all this isn't coming out till next year.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, I'm done. I'm not reading any more of this. Okay.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Okay, let's talk about this now.
Yeah.
Let's talk about
Let's
it now.
please. I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna let you go first because I know this is bringing joy to your heart. But go ahead and Taz already warned me. He was like, I was like, are you gonna come through? He was like, he said, yeah, I'm gonna come through. I really don't want to hear slow mo all giggling over there and being happy because he already knew that's what
Look,
was gonna happen. Look at this.
happy. I'm not happy about being right in this case. Oftentimes I am happy about being right. But not right now. I'm not happy about being right about this. I'm not happy about the state that this is in. But I'm right. Essentially, that this is, like they finally decide to wake up and say, oh, no, we've been we're going to be losing players to the likes of Halo, Infinite. We're losing. We're going to be losing people to Splitgate. There are a lot of other PvP options out there that are fresh, that are where they're, like Splitgate 1047 games is 30 dudes, and they and the week I was gone and wasn't able to play the game, they introduced 3 maps
Yeah.
in that week. 3 maps. Bungie with 700 plus developers can't introduce one in over a year. This is no excuse for it. And then still to be like, all this stuff isn't going to be implemented until like 9 months from now. Like you get, when you are complacent, you get what you deserve. This is what you earned. You earned the ire of your PvP community who feels slighted, and although they enjoy playing PvP in your game, they are going to try other experiences because they're when your experience is stale, but they can get new experiences somewhere else. Like, whose fault is that? That's not their fault. They want to enjoy what they play, and if they aren't having the enjoyment in playing the same maps, the same weapons, and then dealing with the same issues all the time, where you add new things and you don't take into account what those things or those subclasses or those abilities do to PvP, and it ruins the experience. But then you gotta fix it months later when people told you this was going to happen. Like, some people just aren't going to stick around for that, or they'll come back, but in the meantime, until you fix it, they're not going to play your game. And so, I mean, it is what it is. You earned this, and so it's good that they're finally coming out and saying, "Hey, we're gonna give you everything that you've been asking for." Finally, but it just seems with Bungie, it's always like this, where it takes a lot of complaining to get them to move on things that people want.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right. After thinking about this, I was at a party with Taz earlier because I'm very irrational and very emotional when it comes to this game. Yeah, shout out to the homie Taz. We have to get him on DPS. He's about to start doing his own YouTube thing, and we got to get him on.
I'd love to hear it.
Yeah, got to hear what my man got to say in this regard when it comes to stuff like this. But he has some really good points that he brought up, and I definitely want to give him his flowers when it came to that. He talked about COVID being a thing, and I think a lot of people kind of take the fact that Bungie hasn't done everything they needed to do when it comes to the Crucible, especially to the liking of the PvP community. The fact that I don't care to play PvP is kind of just kind of a bad thing, because I love I love PvP.
But let's focus in on that. Why don't you care to play the PvP?
Because it's the same. There's nothing that's different about it. The thing it's stale, like very stale. Like, is it fun to go in there and take brand new weapons into the Crucible that you earned in other activities to enjoy them? Absolutely. The gameplay you see right now, I'm playing with Shire's Wrath, which is a Trials weapon that I got probably a couple days before that, and I'm enjoying it because it's a new gun, but I'm still playing on the same maps, the same game modes, nothing new, nothing innovative enough to actually kind of, push the narrative somewhere that it hasn't been before. And that's what makes it boring and stale. And then you go back to conversations back in 2019, 2018, I take that back. That's when Forsaken came out. 2018, where it always gets me. Luke Smith, game director for Destiny 2, comes out and says that, we have a renewed focus for PvP, a renewed focus in 2018. Where has that renewed focus been for the last 2.5 years? Now, Taz, in all his infinite glory, shout out to the homie, said, COVID has definitely been a thing. Bungie, I will give them credit, has been one of those studios that definitely has not went back to work. They are not in the studio. They are still working, from home. And who knows when they're going to be back in the studio. So will that impact development of them working on stuff like the PvP? Absolutely. We also got to come to the for PvP people, you got to come to the realization that as much as Destiny is a PvP and PvE game, they speak to each other. They harmonize great with each other. The fact that you could take a weapon from here and take it into there and enjoy it as much as you want is a great thing. But PvE is the focus for this game. As a PvP player, you may not like to hear that. And a lot of people in PvP will tell you, like, well, no, it's a PvE and a PvP game. Well, Bungie hasn't been acting that way. We've been getting a lot of updates for PvP. PvP has definitely been moving forward with all the improvements they have been making compared to what we've been getting in PvP. It's been more of okay, we're going to bring trials back. Oh, it don't work. Oh, we're going to change this. Oh, you don't like the way tokens drop inside of trials? We're going to change that. Oh, we're going to make it. Oh, you want the bounty system back from Destiny 1? We're going to do that. But guess what? We're not going to make it as good as the one in Destiny 1. We're going to make it half-baked. Okay. We're gonna cancel Trials. Trials comes out, we're gonna cancel it like 3 weeks in a row after it only being out 2 weeks because there's exploits in the game from getting outside the map or exotics being broken in the game that's gonna do it. These are, stasis, the number one selling thing for Destiny. The reason you bought Forsaken is because of staking. I mean, not say Forsaken. The reason you bought Beyond Light is for stasis. And guess what? It was a selling point. But guess what it did to Crucible? Alienated everybody. No one wanted to be slowed down. And then they want to say, well, we didn't foresee this. Yes, you did. You definitely knew this was a thing. We knew this was going to happen. People told you this was going to happen. But, it's all about selling the game. It's about excitement. It's about what you can put on the trailer. I always say when Bungie puts out a trailer for Destiny, the game is another level. They know how to cut a trailer. They know how to sell their game. They know how to sell hope to their player base. And is that a bad thing? Absolutely not, because most developers don't know how to do that. But I will sit here as a PvP person to tell you, I have not had fun playing in their PvP. And I'm a person that went flawless, got a flawless tag, been to the lighthouse multiple times. I love the PvP in this game. It's satisfying, it's great, and it doesn't change the fact that the game itself is one of the best playing first-person shooters you will ever play. But it's still, I don't care how great you play, if the game becomes meh and stale because of the experiences that you're having in playing the game, it doesn't matter. And that's where a lot of these PvP focused people are going right now. Destiny has competition. Just like I said in the title, Splitgate, Halo, Battlefield, oh my.
Destiny has always had competition.
But not now, to this real competition.
No, they've always had real competition because not everybody plays Destiny. The difference now is that there is competition for Destiny's players.
Yes, I agree. Yeah,
that's the difference, because there are people who play COD, they don't touch Destiny. There are people who will play Halo and don't touch Destiny. There are people who play play Rainbow Six Siege, and don't touch Destiny. But the difference now is that there are Destiny people who have been just like, all I play is Destiny. That's all I really care to play. That's where my time is going. they are now looking elsewhere, and for very good reasons, because there are good games out. Like you said, you've been playing Splitgate,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean
What you about to say, Slow-Mo?
I'm just saying, like my recommendations are flawless. That's all I
Oh.
gotta say. I got flawless
Listen, man,
recommendations when it
Splitgate
comes
is
to
a good
games.
listen. Splitgate is a good game. I never said it wasn't a good game. I just said it isn't at the caliber of gunplay and experience that Destiny is. It still doesn't change the fact
Well,
I
when
still think Destiny's a better game, but it still does. But it is very disheartening when the PvP player base is being ignored for as long as they have been. And the thing that really stuck out to me the most about this, and Joe Blackburn, no problem with him, good guy. He's basically just a messenger giving out the bad news right now. My biggest problem with this whole scenario is the fact that it's been almost 2.5 years since they said this renewed focus. And the line where he said, we are putting teams together to build content. I'm like,
that
well,
means they
what
don't have
have
the
you?
teams put together yet.
I'm like, what have you been doing for the last 2 years then? We are finally putting teams together to give you the experience that you want. So now and then the teams you're putting together. So we're in season 14. Season 15 is next month. They're doing some type of changes to trials, which we kind of got an idea because they said it in previous TWAPs. But the biggest thing that really sticks out to me is the fact that so in season 16, which is the Witch Queen, which got delayed until early 2022, which could be in February, they're talking about they're going to give us 2 maps that are reprisals that we already had in the game from Destiny 2. So the 2 maps that they're giving you in 6 months is maps we already had. So maps we already had. Then, we're going to give you 1 new map during season 17. Okay, 1 new map. I'm like, 1 new map that this team that you're building now is going to make us. Now, it's not easy to make a map. We know that. But 1 new map? And then...
I don't know, man. I mean, look, 1047 games with Splitgate made 3 maps in the course of a month or so.
Listen,
it
man.
seems. I don't know. They just dropping maps
listen,
left
man.
and right.
Then we got this. Then we got another situation. Then they say in season 17. So we're in 14. 15 we get 2. 15 we get nothing. 15 we get replacement of Trials of Osiris when it comes to that. 16 we get 2 Destiny 2 maps brought back. Season 17 we get a new PvP map, which will be in the summer of next year. And guess what we get in season 18, Slow-Mo, which will be almost roughly a year from now. We will be getting a Destiny 1 map brought back to the game. A Destiny 1 map, Slow-Mo.
Yay. Something I played back in 2014. Let's go.
So that's where my frustration kicks in. It's like this renewed focus that was talked about in 2018 that didn't happen. And then the fact that we have a situation where the new stuff we're going to get is not new. It's not new at all.
Cybernox in the chat, he said, not easy to make a map. Wait till Forge comes out. Exactly.
Well, yeah, exactly. But look, that's
why don't Bungie do that? Make their own version of Forge and allow the community to make their own maps. Because clearly they got no desire to do so. Okay, fine. We'll make you some new maps, okay? Jeez, we'll make you some new. Are you happy now? We're gonna give you some new maps. Matter of fact, not new maps. We'll give you old maps that we took out. We'll put those back in, and then we'll bring over something that you played 6 years ago. Okay,
right.
Are you happy now? Like, look, no, I'm not happy. You shouldn't be happy with that. Why take the bare minimum? Why should your time not be valuable? This is why I'm like, y'all go play other stuff, man. Battlefield 2042 is coming out. Play something different. Halo Infinite's coming out. Enjoy that, man. Play something different. Splitgate, if you want to wait, in the queue for... Actually, I gotta admit, the queue's gotten better for Splitgate. when I jumped in it last night,
It only
I
took you
thought I
10
was
minutes.
gonna. It was about 10 minutes. 10 minutes to get in. That's an improvement over 45. So hey, look. They're getting their server capacity up. They didn't expect to be this popular so quickly. All that said, try that game out. That game's fun.
It
You know,
is
there are other
fun.
PvP experiences out here that you can enjoy, and they're going to continue to be more and more PvP experiences coming that you can really dig into. And you know, look, Apex Legends is expanding. It's not just a battle royale anymore. They got like 3v3, like arena style PvP now, in Apex Legends. I gotta get that. I gotta try that out. Actually, I got it installed, but I haven't played it with the people that I know that play it yet. But like, there are other experiences out there. You want that PvP fix? Just give Destiny a rest for a little bit, okay? Just give it a rest for a little while. It's like you can get other PvP experiences out here, good ones. Not trash ones like that game that won't be named that I tested out earlier today, but good ones, really good ones, you know?
Mid
It's
IQ was
possible.
like Destiny is like crack in his Pookie voice. he,
Keep
keep,
calling me.
he keeps
They
calling me,
keep
man. He
calling me.
keeps calling me, man. Look, man, it's a fun game. Like, am I surprised about any of this? No, it's just more of the fact that I would have been okay with this direction if they would have just came out and said something. Like the whole thing about it being the pandemic is definitely a something that happened, but they also knew this was happening, and it should have been something said to the community, especially the PvP community, about yo, we know we talked about the renewed focus to PvP, but you know, we're starting from ground zero. We don't have the resources because we're working from home. We're prioritizing PvE content at the moment because that is the more the bigger side of the player base. And I think a lot of PvP people would have been fine with that. You know, maybe if they could have threw a bone and, you know, added some new weapons or probably just brought back one of the Destiny 1 maps or Destiny 2 maps a little earlier, I think people will understand that. But when you don't say anything and then all of a sudden you say it all at one time, it's like a gerbil. It's like a bunch of stuff just coming out of your mouth that you're spewing that people's like, well, where was this at a year ago or 2 years ago or even 6 months ago? Why are we talking about this now? Because, you know, as soon as I saw this, the first thing that popped in my head is like, they are afraid of what's happening with these other games. You know, Halo just had its technical beta. You know,
That's what it sounds like.
yeah, Splitgate has 2 million people trying to play it and they can't get in, and they got a $10 million investment from a firm to be able to help stabilize their actual servers and everything. So in general, I just think that's kind of what it comes down to. Battlefield's going to be breathing down their neck. We don't know what's going on with Call of Duty. So I truly appreciate the candidness that they actually came out and said this stuff, but it still doesn't change the fact that, dude, 2.5 years have passed, and this is the conversation you want to have with us
It's
now.
excuses at this point. You look. If you need to peel off some people from your teams that are working on PvE content to do PvP,
Yeah,
do that. You don't neglect a portion of your game for years. There's no excuses for it. I don't care what. Oh, we had to rebuild. Oh man, you know, like a portion of our studio got flooded. That was the PvP side of the studio. The people couldn't find nowhere to work. No, I don't care. No one cares. You neglected this part of your game for a long period of time,
yeah,
and it's never going to be acceptable. So it isn't. So
yeah,
like whatever excuses you come up with, it's going to fall on deaf ears until you actually pull out some content. And the way things are looking, you got no content whatsoever. You don't even got like a concept art of a new map to show anybody. Nothing. You got nothing. You got
yeah.
nothing but tweets.
Facts. Sh-
So it is what it is, man.
Shout out to the God with the $2 super chat. I forgot y'all were on today. LOL. Hit the like button, people. Yeah, really appreciate hitting the like button. And yeah, thanks for everybody that came back. You know, OBS took a crash and decided to like,
It did.
oh, it went down for like a good 30-40 seconds.
What was that the whole time I was reading out those long-winded tweets?
I cannot confirm or deny. What might
You
have
rat
happened to
bastard.
you?
You had me reading these tweets to nobody.
No, they I think they heard part of it, but it was perfect because they didn't need
So
to hear it.
you couldn't tell me
I
we were down.
listen, slow mo. You were having too much fun.
In the show. We down here.
No, actually, it wasn't during that part that you were talking slow mo. You just overreacted.
No, I think it was.
It wasn't.
No,
it wasn't. It wasn't when you were talking slow mo.
This topic is over. We go. Let's get
No. Slow mo. It's not over. I got one more thing I want to ask you. It's not about. Okay, so in general, all these. So which one of these PvP games are you looking forward to the most this holiday?
Name all the games.
We got Splitgate, which is a thing. Battlefield, Halo. I don't know if you like Call of Duty. I mean, you don't play
Not
Destiny,
really.
but we'll throw Destiny in there. And what else is coming out this holiday? Shooter wise, I think that's it. Let's say Factions comes out for PlayStation. So if
no.
Let's say if
Nothing that
Factions
hasn't
comes
been-
out.
No.
How did Factions comes out? So we'll throw Factions
And
in there
nothing,
too.
Like there's no indication that a Factions.
And if it does though, Slomo, would you be more interested in that than any other game or something?
No.
Okay,
No.
so what would you?
No.
So between Split, okay, I know you don't like
It's-
Destiny. You're not
it's
a big
probably
Call of Duty
tie.
person.
It's probably a tie between Splitgate and Halo Infinite.
Okay, Halo Infinite.
Halo Infinite, because like I'm really excited for Halo Infinite. After playing the technical preview, I'm excited for where it can go and what to see, because we haven't even seen like big team battle yet. We haven't seen any of the other modes, the PvP modes that they've been working on. Like there's a lot that we haven't seen yet, and so I'm excited for that, its potential. But then I'm also excited for what more that, because like Splitgate's now got some serious funding from a capital venture firm. They
Right.
got a nice little influx of cash. They're starting to expand their team out. Maybe some ideas that they had to kind of put a hold on, or maybe even just not do at all because of time and effort, and not really having the staffing available to do it is now available to them. I
Right.
can see the game and its popularity really taking off, as it already has. It's already now like one of the like top 5 PvP games people are playing right now.
Mm.
Like I looked at the numbers, and the numbers are, it's being played more on Steam right now. It's being played more than Destiny 2.
Yeah.
And we don't know the heights it can go, simply because their server capacity doesn't allow all the people who want to play it yet. So
Mm.
it's got, the sky's the limit for them in that game, and I just can't wait to see more of what it has in store. So those two
Yeah.
games are probably a tie for me.
Yeah, same for me. Battlefield is number 1. Halo is number 2. So make that known. But and most anticipated game for the holiday. Any game? What you looking forward to? Deathloop?
Deathloop, yeah.
Was it more of what you already seen, or did the PlayStation event sell it for you?
No, that I felt that way about Deathloop before then. If you recall, I did a video back in January,
Mhm.
which is like my most anticipated games of 2021, and Deathloop was one of them. And so the other ones have maybe Deathloop more. Deathloop more than Kane the Bridge of Spirits. I had Kane the Bridge of Spirits on that list too, and that one hasn't come out yet, but I'm looking forward to that one as well. But Deathloop a little bit more than that one. So yeah, those two for certain.
Yeah, Battlefield for me is even more than Halo. Just I love Battlefield, and the direction they're going in with the portals and everything is going to be something that a lot of people are going to be super excited for. And and shout out to the Xbox 2. We are challenging them to a war when that game comes out. So once we get the portal stuff up, once we get the portal stuff up.
All right, man.
I'm
not a very heavy man. But you're gonna have to carry a brother.
We got to carry your 6'4" frame.
I ain't played a Battlefield in forever.
Oh man, well, you play shooters though, slow mo.
I do play shooters, so you won't have to carry me that badly, but I'm gonna be a little lost. Like, be like, wait, what? What are
Yeah,
we doing?
yeah,
Are we getting this vehicle? Where are we heading? What's
yeah.
happening? What does this do? You know, it's gonna be a whole lot of that. But I'm down. You know, of course, I'm always
Oh,
down.
you're
You know,
always down.
I love my shooters, so it's yeah, it's gonna be a good time regardless. I can't be as bad as Jez, so you
Oh my god.
know.
Well, Jess can't. Well, he Jess said he said he a battlefield connoisseur though. You know, we'll see.
Oh, never mind then. All right, I can't be as bad as Rand. Let me.
Oh well, yeah.
I won't be the
He
worst.
said I can't be. I got to beat one of these guys.
Exactly. I gotta be one of them. So
Shout out.
is it a Jez or Rand?
Yeah, shout out to Cybernox. He said he still isn't sold on Deathloop, and Med IQ said that he was sold on it until the PlayStation exclusive tag showed up.
Oh, come on, man. We can't be like this, man. All this platform console warring is silly, bro.
He probably just doesn't have a PlayStation 5. And once he gets the PlayStation 5, he'll probably go out and get it. But
Build a PC.
build a PC. You're right about that.
Yeah.
Well,
Like with Deathloop, it's not just the gun. The gunplay looks like the best I've ever seen Arcane do, which it's not saying a lot because like a game like Prey didn't really have great gunplay to begin with. Dishonored is more of a stealth game,
yeah,
and it's not really gunplay. It's like shooting a freaking crossbow is not exactly what people consider great, consider gunplay at all. But I like what I saw from that, and I like just the whole idea and premise of having to take on all of these different bosses, and who you decide to take on changes the strategies and defenses of the other ones that you're trying to take out. All that very dynamic flow of gameplay is something that hasn't really been done before in games. And that's what, like, I always say that about Arcane. Even if like their games don't always speak to me, I always appreciate how they will tend to do things that are unique and different, and don't just go for like, oh yeah, people don't say for a particular Arcane game, oh, it's just a stealth game, or it's just another first person shooter. Like, no, there is no just another with Arcane. They
yeah.
do things differently. They're unique. They bring a different experience that's innovative, and I'm looking forward to it. That's the main reason why I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, definitely. Same here. Well, look, we're coming up to the end of the show. Do want to open it up for like the next 2 or 3 minutes to people that's got questions that you guys want to ask. So if you do, just put them in the chat and mention me or Slow-Mo's name so we can see it clearly, and we'll answer those. But outside of that, Slow-Mo, what you got going on your channel, and where can people find you?
You can find me at my YouTube channel, Slow Mo Backslap. And it's how the name is displayed right here on the screen, as well as on my Twitch channel, Slow Mo Backslap. I've been going live with some of the games that I've been playing. Most recently finished Last Stop, which is a kind of a narrative-based game. It's pretty cool. If you liked games like let's see, Telltale kind of games, those games that are very narrative driven, you may enjoy Last Stop. It's light on the gameplay but strong on the narrative and interesting characters. It's pretty good. It's in Game Pass right now if you want to check it out without having to spend any money on it. Go for it. um and like I streamed that my entire playthrough of that in like 2 sessions, so check that out on the channel. um yeah, that I'm still working on my videos, and I got some different unique things I'm doing with the videos recently that hope you guys enjoy when I do upload those soon. And yeah, great show, man.
Yeah, man, this is a really good show, man. I truly appreciate everybody that's in the chat. Me and Slow-Mo together, I know a lot of you guys come from a lot of different places that we do content and stuff, Brap and Scumcast, and we got Crossfire, and a lot of people even come from Rand channel. I see a couple people that are in his chat, and trust me, it doesn't go unnoticed. I really appreciate everybody that stuck around with us, and truly appreciate all of the love and support that you guys bring. But for myself, you're already on the channel, Gaming Forte here, YouTube, Twitter, and Xbox Live, PlayStation. Hit that like button on your way out. Make sure you guys have a great gaming week. Enjoy everything that's going on. If you're playing in the matter of fact, hit us up on Twitter if you're in the beta for Back 4 Blood, if you're on PC or Xbox, because it is a cross-play game. So even if you're on PS4, tomorrow I'll be on there. I know Slomo will be on there. How did they say how long the beta's going for, Slomo?
I think it's to the 12th.
Okay, so we got.
I think it's for a full week.
So we got a full week. So hey, if anybody wants to get in there, 4-player co-op, definitely want to, interact with you guys inside of different games and stuff, because we're not going to be one of those podcasts that people say they don't play games. Because guess what? We do play games.
They can't say that. They couldn't say that about this podcast ever. I mean, I'm sorry. I beat more games in a year than some of these people have beaten in an entire generation. So
yeah, Med
not
said
bragging. It is what it is.
Med said he learned about us from the IOP, and he will definitely be coming back. And he enjoyed the content.
Awesome.
Appreciate it.
Love that.
Slomo didn't say it, but the thing is about DPS, since we both co-host it, it does rotate between channels. So this week it was on my channel, next week it will be on his. So if you not if you want, can you please go over to his channel and sub to his channel, because that's where DPS will be at next week, and then it will be back on my channel the week after that. So we really appreciate the support for supporting both channels. But other than that, you got anything else, Slomo?
Nothing, man. We gotta get up out of here. I think
Slomo gotta go to sleep.
No, Elder Cat has got me locked in for Rogue Company when we get done. So
PC?
I'm gonna play some Rogue Company.
PC?
It's crossplay, so it don't
That's
matter.
what I'm saying. PC, right?
Yeah, I'm playing on PC.
Okay, I'll jump in there with y'all.
All right, we got 3.
Okay, I'll jump. I haven't done it in a while, so I'll jump in there.
All right, let's end the show. Let's end the
show. Definitely, let's end the show. Games first. Games always, and games will always be the number one thing that drives DPS. You guys have a great week, and we'll see you guys next week. Peace.
Peace out.